So we got to get this draft going. We got to see who's going to be the first team to qualify on camera here today. And it looks like the bans and picks should be coming in shortly.
And I assume in terms of ban, we're looking
Well,
at
big Joshy,
assume
because
probably,
my
like,
son that I
Argus
left
from
until the last
one of the
minute.
two
I'm not
team.
doing shit for you.
And then like probably like we're
I'm not in
Joey
college
was
anymore,
mentioning maybe a
pal.
Calari
That's
actually,
your
like,
mistake.
inside of flow state, because we see they probably like first ban first pick if they're on the left side of our screen, which means that they can like afford to let
Who's
the
flow
Argus
state?
open
At
in
flow
the
state
stands.
Sunbus
So
team?
that could be like something they want
I
to
know they're
remove. They
talking
don't
about
want
it,
to have to deal with. North is an absolute monster on that. Is also like playing against a Calari when you are not like super proficient, like your communication is not as wonderful as it can be. And here we see the Calari is being banned immediately. Like Calari can be dealt with, but that requires a huge amount of synergy.
What's your
And
assignment
maybe a team
anyway,
as
Joshy?
recent as Flow State that still like don't have like those many months of playing together, don't really want to take the risk and deal with it.
Yeah, because like I said, Moogie, not only have the coordination to
Oh, we're
shut the clock,
due
but you
in
almost
5
have
hours
to
and a-
build a team comp that can shut down the
Good luck
clock,
with
and that
that.
can be pretty limiting
Let
if
me
you have to
join
deal with
Discord,
that
I
like
forgot.
limitations on how you want to drop that out. So honestly, banning the clock so you have more flexibility in team comps, but also
Oh,
take
we have
away
a
such a
Discord
power
watch party.
hero from North on D-Lab is honestly a super smart move. I'm very curious to see what D-Lab would be banning right here. Maybe they'd also answer with their own player-specific ban on Flow State right here, because as much as the Argus and the Rampage and the Quan's like been such a huge performance in this kind of tournament, at the same time, if you can remove like some of the main winning conditions on the other team, you should definitely go for that too. And we see right here the Bellica ban coming through. Like
Just
Bellica's
right,
been, like, a
ask
very high
ChatGPT
priority
to do it for you,
pick, but
Joshy.
not really a ban at all. So kind of seems like they want to ban that flex pick from Flow State, so they don't have that Bellica to play around.
And that's also like another thing I just like realized, like it's a 7th game of Dirty Like and the Boys, and that's
That
the
sounds
7th
extremely
time
boring.
that they are second pick. So I don't know if they're winning every single coin toss and they decide like to go second all the time, or it's maybe that other team actually like love the first ban, while like we have a little bit of action on the side of lanes. We said the doggy, but yeah. So I don't know if they just like really like that part, or if they just like, and all the teams go for first pick and they have like really like their solution set up for them. But another thing I kind of like is we can see like in previous events sometimes there was like one pick that was clearly like above the top and all the teams were kind of forced to ban it, and here I feel like we have a lot of strong pick which kind of opens up those bans. And usually when we're getting into those drafts it was very easy to say like, okay, that's gonna be the ban, but now it's kind of open and we see Flow State deciding to snack pick the Argus, which is like we have said before, many teams consider that Argus is utterly broken. Other team kind of realize that he has maybe like some weaknesses and that you can actually exploit weaknesses. So let's see if actually Dirty Like and the Boys is one of those teams that actually managed to figure out a little bit the Argus, or is Flow State, thanks to their Argus, is going to be able to get like a huge control.
I'm glad to not be in school anymore.
Yeah, I really like the Argus pick right here from Flow State, because one of the weaknesses of Argus going to mid lane especially is the Bellicus, and we saw D-Lab banning out the Bellicus, so Flow State, wait a minute, we can just pick Argus mid and we don't have to worry about that Bellicus just one-shotting with the ultimate. So almost maybe a slight mistake on D-Lab, not realizing that the one that made he was shut down Argus mid is Bellicus. So actually a really great pickup by Flow State for that Argus, but he can always be still flexed in the support role depending on the matchups we can see. And yep, as D-Lab has shown time and time again, they love the jungle and the first kind of pick, so the pickup right there along with the Saris, it's going to be a great flex in the off lane, just being able to win almost any matchup. Also good in the jungle too if they want to flex him in there instead.
And I remember like Dirty Like and the Boys against Indecisive yesterday picking the jungle Zarus first, and yeah, they have like that pocket Zarus support for Toasty. So this Zarus is like can really be jungle, off lane, or support.
They got rid of the lottery.
And you never know until the end of the draft. So I guess that's one of the reasons they love that Zarus pick for themselves, because it's really like a flex pick. On the side of Flow State, I would assume like maybe here we're going to try to secure like one of the jungler we want. Here all the jungler are open for Simba. They have access to the Rampage, they have access to the camera, they do have access to the Rictor, like everything is completely open.
I'm dropping so much
and
pistachios.
Then maybe the Argus can still be flex on the support or the mid lane, but actually you're going to secure like Rictor Decker. 3 character, when you combine Argus, which has a stun plus like the pull plus the slow on the ultimate, a Replash, plus a skewer, plus a silence, plus a Decker stun, plus a Decker second stun, plus a cage. Like it feels like Flow State said, okay, you let open like all those heavy CC character. We're gonna play a comp that makes you hate your life about playing the game because you don't get to play the game. It seems.
Yeah, we're already kind of starting to see these different like game strategies coming into play. D-Lab going for the more flexible picks, so they have more options. While Flow State is hard locking in with the August Victor Decker because that's most definitely a Decker support. Victor can still maybe be flexed between jungle and offlane, but that's definitely an August mid if you have a Decker already locked in with there. So Flow State just saying that, hey, we're gonna pick all the CC. You know where we're going, but that's still not gonna stop us from just making one life miserable on D-Lab's side right there.
It's gonna be interesting.
So
this is the APC or what in the
like
mid
a
lane?
jungle pick
Right,
right here,
Flow State.
Camille is actually a great
Gotta wait
option
and see.
because you have that stealth.
Because with the Argus Decker
one of the better
in the duo
junglers
lane
to
can
go
actually
into
work.
the Argus with the Decker because he can at least self cleanse that one CC, but if the fight at the CC afterwards, he cannot like deal with that much.
And indeed, and here I feel like maybe like one band that we can maybe look for on the side of Flow State is Narbash, because to be fair, like it's very hard to play into like the Rictor, but it's a Decker support already being selected, and Narbash fare very well into the Decker because Decker can be aggressive, but it's very easy to be safe. Not a lot of damage coming from the Decker, so you can sustain. And suddenly, like your camera plus Zarus, plus all this passive healing when you get CC, like makes suddenly your frontline that will get deleted by any form of CC survive a long time. And you already have like this kind of like 2 Bruiser plus Narbash plus double backline carry comp that can like really work.
I'm banning Narbash solo.
Maybe Flow State want to avoid because that could be like actually dangerous for the type of gameplay.
D-Lab still needs a support,
but in addition
so
to remove the Sevrok, we all know Lauber from being like a very, very scary.
It's kind of interesting though that they got rid of his
Sevrok. That means that they respect the fact that Toasty can go on the Zarus support because Sevrok is definitely like a targeted ban for the offlane, and so they consider that the Zarus is not the offlaner for now. So Floatside decided to play like it a little bit like more risk-free by removing like this very strong
Zarus support, I guess.
Maybe like
does D-Lab play? Oh, because he has Toasty.
Their plan.
He has Toasty.
In
I
offlane
forgot.
because
Toasty
now we're
plays
more
Zarus
limited
support.
on this offlane pool.
Yeah, we like this Sewa Ben right there because D-Lab really wants to kind of lock in the more frontline. I know the Chimera and Sayers are great kind of frontliners for the most part, but it doesn't hurt to like grab another one if that's a Sayers support flex right there. But what Flow State really lacks is kind of like the high consistent damage. They have the August kind of locked in right there, but they really want to lock in like another source damage source, so like maybe if that's a way to offlane, they can try and get something in the jungle. But I see Dean Laving banning out the Quan and then picking up the game. It's very like a kind of D-Lab team comp right here. They have great utility, frontlining, dive potential, and then the game that can fall all the way up right there. So it's going to be like the August and Gideon mid. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that kind of will turn out right there.
It's very interesting because like the D-Lab team composition is almost exactly like so far it's exactly the same as we have seen Midnight Anthem play the previous match. Like we have like 4 characters that are exactly the same, trying to look like for this very like divey type of composition that also like offer like pretty good objective control thanks to the camera, but also like a lot of lane control because like Gideon can clear wave super fast. Drongo, like why
I don't think we see Narbash too much.
Highly because he's very strong at fighting.
PCC.
He's very strong at clearing wave. He's very strong at objective control thanks to the gag grenade and the amount of damage he's dishing on objective. So it kind of offer a lot of things. And here, once again, we're gonna see like the Kira into the Drongo. I know Joey, you are a super fan of that matchup, and also like the Greystone being secure. So we kind of tuned down a little bit on the CC aspect and decided to bring like a little bit more beef, a little bit more damage because we already have enough lockdown.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, Flow State have more than enough CC right there, so I think the Greystone is a great pick because he can be like the main source damage stealer. He can just do so much damage in the backlines if he gets on top of them. So it was gonna come down for Flow State trying to get the nice CC on the backlines and then just having to follow up by the Greystone or even Kira, which once again I'm not sure why people would love to keep picking Kira against Strongo. I really don't like that matchup, but again I guess they really like the one more combo.
Kira damage output, man. Kira outputs so much damage.
Down, and then you have a kill ultimate just kind of like willing away on that target right there. So again, Flow State looking to do like the one more combo strategy, but D-Lab also looking like they have a very good like flexibility all around. They have some one-man combos, but also I think they have some great durability and damage on all the kills. But seeing the phase pick right here, which we don't really see that often. The only time we really see phase is when Professor's banning it on the first round of every single game. But it almost seems like but that's actually such a good
That's interesting.
because
D-Lab
the
has a really weird comp.
Deca in August, you kind of look at your Drongo and be like, hey, let me pick this phase, let me protect you more so you're feeling a little bit safer, or even if it's not the Drongo.
Hey, what up, Eden? You watching PCC? Yeah.
A phase Chimera
Big Josh with the redeem first.
Like a very deadly combo.
I'm down in my I'm in my Discord chat too. You want to get on voice?
It is. So the big question I have looking at this draft, how is this Gideon going to ult? Is there any way he can portal in and use this? Mugi, what's the strategy here for D-Lab?
I'm a little interested by seeing Zara's
what you're going to use with Gideon. Of course, you can go for a more like bruisery type of build, but I feel like you might end up like lacking maybe a bit of magical damage if you go into that route. So
they're gonna be in such a big fight. I think Zara's
already have the K-Man and Zara's to create like a lot of chaos, so you're not the primary engage. You have to wait for the chaos to start like scare the enemy team, and then so you can find some ultimate and probably try to ult through walls, because this black hole actually like damage and pull people through the walls, and so you have to find like some angles that is harder for you to get CC by.
It is interesting. Joe, do you have any closing thoughts before we kick it over to our casters for this?
No, other than I think the win condition of D-Lab is just protecting the backline with the Gideon Drongo. Like, they have the phase. The phase main primary job is to protect the backline, or even empowering the frontline with the Chimera. So all eyes, I feel like, is going to be on the phase and how she can enable D-Lab's team comp right here.
I think so too. So this will be the last time we see one of these teams today. Once again, one will be qualifying. We'll have to watch the other one again in a fight for their lives. But to get us into the game, we're going to kick it over to the legendary duo of Ego and Falcon.
Ego.
Gamers, welcome in to PCC 7. We got D-Lab cooking up against Flow State. It's going to be your boy Ego.
Where's Shaika? I'm trying to move out of my house with the next. Oh, I see.
I got the man, the
hopefully, get that done really quick.
Perspective. It's going to be my boy Falcon. Man, how are we doing today? Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Ah,
We're going to have two
3:30 a.m.
We haven't really seen that much of
3:30 a.m. and you need to finish an assignment. You're absolutely insane.
Already today, and I actually really like both of these team comps. They do.
I don't know how you do it. I never understood people who did. I think I've only done one assignment where I procrastinated back in college. Every single assignment I did in college was done as soon as I was assigned it, because I could not mentally relax at all.
100%, man. And, you know, looking
at that
throughout alongside the
no invade. We got actually a big invade group right here. Jay and Gussy, they are going to look at an invade.
I do not know if the Flow State lads know what any letters are past it, because they have C stacking on this thing in between this Richter pick, Argus, as well as some of the early aggression that Decker is going to be able to provide to this composition. Do you think that this is going to be pertinent in them maybe getting a little bit of early game momentum, even during a little bit of the farming phase of the game here, Falcon?
They're them devastated in the commentary.
Like, looking at the comment, yes, there is tons of CC.
Oh, nice. Kalari got banned because the devs don't know how to balance invisibility.
As simple as that.
Fucking monkeys.
With Africa is going to have control over that mid lane. Dry is going to have time to stack up. He's going to have to get those levels, make sure that he can get
flawless. Argus getting first picked or banned because they still don't know how to balance this kit.
Fights. And if you look at the dual lane, yes, you have the Decker, you have the Richter combo for the ganks, but Jay is playing that Kira, who is going to be in trouble against this Drongo. They can't alter at all. They're not going to have the Wave here.
Alrighty. So right here, it's going to be pretty much getting to, like,
as I say that though, they get the first.
Depend on the type of push. Kira's not going to push that hard. You know, so if Drongo, if FaZe is going to get a root, Drongo's going to throw his boomerang, get double hit, and kind of melt whoever he hits.
In general, we know what Appy Picker, North, and
Bry's going Argus into a Gideon.
All capable of, and now it really does come down to the execution. But standing across from them, Flow State knows what they're capable of just as much as we do. Are going to be looking to maybe counterplay into some of these engagements that they've become notorious for a lot of time, playing through their junglers such as North Falcon.
Yeah, but Simba's not bad either, and overall,
what are we
it
getting
is
from
going to
North
be
right
a
here?
Interesting setup. I
North's
think
getting a
North definitely has the
rotation.
advantage playing the Chimera against the Richter. He can do
Yeah, he's getting a
lot
good
of
gank
damage
off
against
of
him,
this.
and will have a
But you can
faster
hear
wave
Simba
clear.
right
And
now.
we already can see him going for the invade, but he's going to meet Simba.
Yeah, he beats
Yes,
Richter
sir,
right now.
as
So
now Simba's going to be put onto the back foot, but North is going to be looking for more. We do see back foot coming from off the side here. It's going to be Gucci looking to create a
Oh,
little
man.
bit of space.
Oh,
And the
man.
is actually going to force out the blink. It's going to
Oh, man, North ending.
It's actually going to be the first one.
Oh,
to go
my
down, but
God.
the smoke is not quite over
They
yet.
got Gucci. Simba, what are you doing? Simba with the grab. Simba with the grab. And they're going to secure the kill, Drogo. Oh, my God, Richter is still alive.
But another and a third member of this composition. It's going to be D-Lab who is going to be getting a little bit cooked here within the early phases of the game. A great play coming from Flow State, who seemed to be in the zone.
Guys, we're 3 minutes into the game. Come on, just have a chance to breathe. I mean, I love how North did go for the invade. He has got that advantage against Richter. We saw how strong it is. But Simba was able to link up.
Oh,
with the
wild.
Jay managed to get those max stacks, that vengeance on to North and completely blew him up. And with the basically exactly the same time the blinks coming out of both junglers, it did lead to the first blood. And then from there, it just felt like a bit disconnected from D-Lab. The mid laner, Appy Picker, was not in a correct position.
That's
Vi was able
insane.
to connect
It was
up
literally a
with
0.01
and
time
the
gap,
kills
bro.
are gonna be a
It was literally a 0.01 second.
in this
Everything
game.
was done
So nothing
so
definitely,
perfectly.
bad yet
Man.
for the side of D-Lab. They can still come
Man.
out with it. But early game advantage.
That was
that's definitely
insane.
for Flow State at this point.
100% here, man. Flow State definitely
Insane.
finding a flow here.
Belko
but
the 5-man
not anything
knockout
settled
because it
early.
does
The
our brain
Russian
dead.
River getting a little bit of a rundown with the damage, and I just keep thinking back to this moment. How confident,
instant cast
how
is
trusting
insane.
of your team do you have to be the Richter within this situation? Just getting a little bit of that shielding.
Minion
coming out
aggro running right
passively,
past them
taking
because the
damage
devs
for
don't know how
a
to
moment of
fix
time,
fucking
and then be
minion
like,
aggro.
I think I ripped.
Hey, what up,
Last enemy with
Sanjo? What's
maybe
cooking? How you
50,
doing?
60 HP. I am confident my team is going to be able to lock you up, and they did not.
What's going
do
on
that.
here?
They locked
What's
them
Peak?
down as now
Oh, I was gonna
in
say
the
like
solo
Peak can
lane,
get
we're
beat
gonna
up
see a
right
little bit
here.
of
I'm
action.
like,
It's going to
what's
be
Peak CS?
elite
Like,
as
how's
well
Peak
as
doing
that
in here?
force
Because
push out being
Peak should be
extended
getting
out of
eaten
the solo
alive
laner for
in
Flow State
reality.
Falcons.
So,
North only had to show his face to make.
are they
make the
professional
kill out.
inting or
So
great
it's gonna be a
rotations?
good advantage for the side of Lorber. That means once he gets that level 6, unless
So we still got the invade on the 3 camp.
within that Coliseum,
I don't know how
making the
Richter's
early
overall
game
clear is.
1v1 kill a lot easier for the side of D-Lab.
So river buff
it's
taken
not
on
looking
right.
too bad. And now with Fangtooth on
An
the
hour
right, we have to
angle.
see if either team
Left
will
river
also
buff
go
isn't
in the
taken.
Early game. But looking at these duo lanes, I don't really expect it. Both of them do want to farm up. Jay is going to be playing that Kira who, never mind, is going to immediately start the Fangtooth.
Yep, 5-minute Fangtooth is
Oh,
crazy.
man, they are looking to make these dinos go extinct. This is a squad that is more than proficient at being able to lock down the space around these neutral objectives, as we do see Toasty as well as Lake.
You guys are gonna this is gonna be a 15-minute third Fang. I mean, you know, close to around there. It's gonna be huge.
With the burn through, and that it will be.
Oh my God!
This Fangtooth is actually going to swing over to the.
Oh, he actually got him locked in too.
Now a fight is being picked here. However, a disengage
Well,
does look like it is going to be able to go through. As over into the solo lane, we're going to see a little bit of a fight.
Yeah,
back
this is
up.
kinda
North
wild.
backing up Lobber into the solo, and we know that Blink is not
Wow.
going to be available. However,
Wow.
we do have the flower that is going to be up, and will that distance was made going to be enough? And it looks like it may.
Lobber,
be,
I was gonna say
and
the
Lobber has to
frustration.
abandon the kill
The
first.
frustration right there with that basic attack hit. That
North has to go
damn.
against their
Oh,
force
oh!
far enough, but Simba's gonna get a return
And he has no
Toasty
flash.
is gonna come
He's
through.
Dunzo.
That is
Oh my God, Lake gonna get Dunzo
Jay
too.
is stuck in the cage.
Hero damage is too much.
to,
Hero damage is too much.
Should be able to walk away quite easily. There's nothing left for. Well, they've run out of
Insane.
CC at stage the game. So again, just another win for Flow State in this early game. Appy Picker is coming over though, and he has got that black hole.
Yes, sir. Ultimate is going to be up. Jay doesn't seem to be too aware of the rotation, but he is now, as he's going to be taking a little bit of damage. We do see Simba. What? The Rip Lash is going to be offline, and it's going to give Appy Picker the space he needs in order to disengage and maybe make a rotation back to his mid lane, as Toasty is going to be rejoining his carry within the dual side here. Falcon, a lot of action here, pumping out early. These teams feel like they really came to fight. However, only one of them has been able to execute, as we see North.
Oh, they
once
got it
again
in.
making a
And he's not
rotation. What a
6.
big
Oh my God, though, you gotta
Now,
trade
Marcus
though.
is actually going to lead to begin another kill that is going to be able to go in favor of Flow State. But at this moment, it is going to be a 1-for-1. But
Wow.
soon to be made a 1-for-2.
Wow.
As it is going to be a
Brian's cooking.
5-kill lead for Flow State.
Brian's
They are
cooking, dude.
going insane here within the early game.
Bry's cooking.
I don't know if Brian knew that North was going to be there, but that rotation was perfectly timed. He used that chance for Appy Pickett in the dual lane to push in the wave and then make a rotation on his own. Peak did go down, yes, but you got the 2 extra kills on the side of Bry, who is playing that Argus, who I have seen be an absolute monster in that mid to late game. And any sort of acceleration is going to be great for the side of Flow State. This is basically a perfect early game for them. Because we can't even forget, they still took that early Fangtooth, and now they have a head mid laner, they have a head dual lane. I mean, DLab need to do something in this game.
They definitely do. And, earlier within this game, we were comparing the Flow State, these gamers, these competitors, these victors in the past to a river. You can cross it, but you gotta be wary of that current. But DLab right now has found themselves underwater. And
Left lane and is just gonna hold.
Able to find. However,
Another gang? Lobber no ultimate, so
Simba is maybe looking to make another rotation.
oh, the ward. He had to destroy the ward.
Going to be enough for the solo laner of DLab to disengage, reset, and maybe played a little bit safer. We have seen throughout this game so far just all the proactivity being within the hands of Flow State, as now it looks like North is going to be looking to get active. The stun coming up big over the top end. It is going to be the black hole that does get expended,
Got out.
but no value is going to be derived from it, with the exception of taking the blink out of Argus's pocket. He's going to be a little bit more unsafe here, as within the
I don't know
solo,
what Peak's
Tanks are
farm
gonna
is.
do what Tanks do. It's going to be a little
I want to
bit
see
of
them
it's not
press
gonna be
tab.
too much pressure being given either way for Falcon.
I'm surprised that Cole hit from North. It looked like it was completely out of range, but that hit meant that the blink was burned from Bry. At the same time, Appy Pickett also used that blink because he used that torn space into that river for a reason that
I'm surprised. I'm like, Lawbird needs to go aggro here.
With both mid laners,
It looks like he could pressure Gray. Probably doesn't know where the Richter is.
With Lawbird continuing to have advantage in that solo lane, and by having to reset, they are going to start that mini prime up. Is coming over.
Mini prime's being started. It's kind of wild,
man,
actually.
It does not look like they want to give this up for free, as we're going to see the Greystone Peak in combination with Argus on this pre.
Oh, this is kind of a troll's
Argus.
Argus.
Argus is going to be chased into the corner. Nonetheless, it is going to be DLab who is going to be able to pick up the objective and maybe a life here. However, the first one that goes down is Lobber, as Bree is going to be able to pick it up.
I did good.
Rated, though, from the Decker. It's going to be able to save them from the onslaught of CC and damage.
I don't know, that mini prime is really, I
Either
don't know if
side
it'll
there.
work.
Falcon, man, gotta get a little bit of a breakdown of the back end of that team fight.
They could take Greystone doesn't have that good clear under tower. Mid lane has pretty good clear, and their dual lane is a little bit low on clear too. So I mean, if they could get 2 towers off that mini prime, I'd go like right and left lane. If they were to take many of those lanes, I think they could kind of cook off of it.
For one death or a mini prime, you are taking that every single time. But because he spent too long
there it
around
is.
that 5 camp, he's not going to be back in.
That's gonna be a very quick Fangtooth.
Are nowhere for this.
Yeah, it does look like they're making a slow rotation over towards it, but capitalize the word slow there, as this is going to be an easy pickoff over north.
They're going for a shutdown.
Going to be able to utilize the blink to get a reposition over the top.
Ooh.
Now, Happy Picker with the black hole, and when things go.
Yeah, it was a good, very good trade.
Because that is going to be 2 kills. That's going to swing in favor of DLab, playing the space over to the side now. It is going to be Greystone utilizing the link in combination with his blink in order to possibly make it out. But in the hot pursuit, it is going to be an ocean of blue, as DLab are going to be looking for more.
That was good. They got some
will
shutdowns
not
though.
find Falcon. Nonetheless, we do see Flow State once again pick up one of these neutral objectives in that thing to back to back. They are just building up some of this advantage, and it looks like DLab is just trying to respond.
Yeah, just a slow response going from the side of D-Lab. They were nearly there. If they were maybe 10 seconds faster, they could have definitely contested it. North going for the blink and did get 2 kills. Why is going to go for
Damn.
the kill? And
Oh my lord, he got
and he
eaten.
only took 1 shot. That Argus is online. He has 4 kills. Going back to that Fangtooth. I mean,
He's
they
feasting.
don't get anything out of those 2 kills either, so Flow State are still in a good position. They are on that Fangtooth point because if they get that third Fang Tooth,
What
that
was
is
Bry's
their
build?
advantage at
So
this
he went
stage of the
Basilisk.
game.
Okay, so
And
he
although
went Basilisk
D-Lab,
first, so he's gonna get
they
this really
still have
strong
North, who
damage
is
early.
pretty ahead with this mini prime. That is not going to be up for this third Fang Tooth. So they are going to be doing this straight 5v5. And with Bry this ahead, I don't see that happening.
You know, we don't use Rennie here on the podcast, but I will say Argus does some damage. Take that as you will. As
Just
you
a
said,
bit.
it only took one shot, and he just absolutely eviscerated, eradicated, some would say, just removed him from the game. He's an elite file at this point. So it is no surprise that we're going to see North looking to put a little bit of pressure onto the mid lane. However, Simba is
Yeah,
gonna
this
be
is
there to
strong.
navigate
I think this is
off the
Bry
CC, but
dead.
Black Hole does get expended as we do see the
Yeah,
Spirit
who got the
does
kill?
only catch one. Both
Who got the
mid laners
kill
are
on him?
gonna fall, but remaining is going to be
Yeah.
both junglers North in combination with Simba.
If Kai's the
Stay
one that's
tall.
getting fed, though,
They're
it's not
gonna just be
necessarily the
looking
best.
for a disengage after a little bit of a scramble. A little bit of CS does find its way into Simba's pocket. Nonetheless, it is going to be a 1-to-1 trade, it looks like, Falcon, at this point of the game, as we're making our way towards 14 minutes.
It's a 1-for-1 trade, but the shutdown gold you gain from killing Bry is going to be immense. That's probably around 800 gold just from the shutdown for North. It would have been great if it went onto Appy. Either way, North can definitely use that money effectively come this next Fangtooth. And yeah, it's going to be hard. There's no real towers been taken either, so although there's been a lot of fighting, the only real objectives that have been taken was those two Fangtooths and that one mini prime, and it has been quite a slow game at this point of time, just because there's a lot of scaling happening on both sides, especially for that Argus and for this Stronger. They do want to get at least 2 items online for this next Fangtooth, because that is definitely going to be, I mean, it's going to be the change of the game. If D-Lab gets it, they can get back into it. If Flow State secures it, they are 100% in the driver's seat.
Oh man, the driver's seat at this point, they're trying to push D-Lab just straight up out of the car, as Lauber is going to catch the back end of a rotation here. Once again, Greystone going to chase him.
Oh, going aggro.
Wow, now Bry is going to be able to close some of the space on top using some of that verticality.
This is kind of wild. Yeah, I'm like,
will be able to create a little bit.
can Norv get anything on this?
It's actually going to just be the damage.
Oh,
as
sad
Norv now
boys.
finds
Oh,
himself
too slow on the
getting
E.
involved. It is going to be retreat for Flow State, with 2 members being able to get underneath the tower. However, I spot me an Appy Picker onto the back line of the tower in between that tier 1 and tier 2 does translate a little bit of damage, but not enough to complete the black bar. But Lauber hits those, lobbing out the damage.
That's crazy.
I
I wasn't paying attention at that, to be honest. I was trying to look at this fight going on here. Wow, they're throwing it now, though.
Off of the cliff. Coming up big as Appy Picker also gets a kill. That's going to be a 2-0 smooth trade going in favor of D-Lab here, Falcon.
You want to come back into the game? That's how you get back into the game.
The Kobe Spear, I know, yeah. I saw like on the peripheral, I'm like, wait, he hit that?
To completely snipe away Peak, using that extra execute damage coming from his Spear of Near. Bry was able to survive by backing off, but Simba was just caught by the 2 members of D-Lab there. They were just able to rotate. They got the first tower of the game as well in that mid lane, which is surprising considering how far Bry's ahead. And with the Fangtooth up in a minute, they are
You literally got gapped. You're gapped.
Completely remove all of the warding from Flow State at this stage of the game. And the dual lane of Flow State as well is pushed under tower. So this is going to be Flow State walking into D-Lab, and that is the perfect situation for them to be in.
Oh man, 100%. We haven't seen it yet within this game how earlier within the phase, let's say 1 or 2 Fangtooths ago, it was a very proactive Flow State that allowed themselves to get that positioning. Now they are in a position where they're going to have to fight into it. And how are they going to be able to handle it? As we're going to see Lauber as well as North jumping onto the backline. This is going to be Jay who's getting those.
Oh, this is a very divided fight right here. This is exactly, this is what you call a Greystone cooking.
Onto the backline, forcing
That's what you call, that's a Greystone play right there. That is why Greystone is so ridiculous. Gets to run him down. It still has ultimate to use too.
The win con is to kill off the dino, and that is exactly what they've been doing oh so very proficiently. As it looks like Appy Picker hopes to complete a miracle, but here there is no miracle.
That was wild.
Advantage, and all that advantage in the pockets of Flow State. Falcon, this team is on a rampage here as we're making our way to that.
They had really good. I really wanted to see the
game.
fight outside of them. Damn.
Just made so much space for the side of Flow State. Lorba got a good engage on the backline using the Colosseum, but Simba was in the way. Peak was able to come around the side and just walk down Pikatosti and Lakenator. And he barely took any damage in that fight as well. So by the time he had to return back to
It is good. It's good players. F8 has very good synergy as they've been playing with each other for a while.
They have gone through that second extinction phase for the dinosaurs at this stage of the game, and now Mini Prime is also up, and you can see Simba, Jay, and Grizzly are all around here, but so is North. Then again, if he's on his own,
They also have their team name and all their titles, so you know they're a problem. Actually, only Bri and Simba have F8 in their name. That's kind of cringe. You either full cringe as a team to where it's not cringy anymore, or
as we do see it's going to be F8 Simba on this Richter pick was going to have that prime buff for the time being. A very, very large part of what we have seen throughout this game has been that CC control, but also it can't be overstood. It can't be overstated. The damage that has been coming out of Argus on these backline to frontline divisions has been absolutely massive. Labra doing all he can in the face of some damage, may have a little bit of advantage here now that Riplash is off and North is making a rotation off the back end. Peak here looking to pick some damage as it is going to be a commitment on.
Oh, that's kind of a troll ulti though.
Go down. And with the skewer being a little bit offline, it is going to be relegated to a simple kill, a 3-on-1 that is going to exclusively give them some advantage here. Falcon, what do you think we're going to see them do with it?
We're gonna cringe fully. Exactly, Majesty, because then it doesn't become as cringe. What up, Undead? I come for the booty.
Making sure that the Mini Prime is off the map because there is
like a time
towers still for Flow State to get. If anything, D-Lab are ahead in that front. We have got 2 towers already. And with mid towers still up for side of D-Lab as well, that means that they can control their jungle. That means Flow State can't really do that much in terms of warding around there either. So they have still got a lot of consistency in the mid lane.
We're entering Prime up soon, so we're gonna see what happens in Prime.
If there's any sort
of a little bit up, boy, because I'm Greek. Oh my lord, what does that mean?
Bust it down, but I don't expect that to be anytime soon.
Yes, sir. As we do see, the map is a little bit spread out.
I'm not aware of the Greekness.
Enjoying the combat, I'm sure, but also knowing that they need to put some priority on getting this farm. And farming has been something that both sides have done relatively efficiently. For the neutral objective, the Flow State Warriors have done it near perfectly. That first Fang Tooth on spawn, and soon after with the second, and successfully swinging.
They haven't showed items. I want to show tab.
D-Lab here. I want to get into your headspace a little bit, Falcon. You do see this game a little bit differently. Some would say from the Falcon point of view. What do you think D-Lab needs to do to be able to flip one of these team fights? Does Argus just need to go down? Do they need to prio Simba then immediately look for a fight? What do we need to see D-Lab do here?
Argus is definitely the priority. I think if North and Lorba can link up and get the kill onto Bri, that is going to put them in a good position. Lakenator is still pretty fed at this point. He hasn't got the most CS in the world. He's only got around 160. But if he gets 2-3 items online, he can deal with the side of Simba and Peak. As we talk about that, Lorba is in danger, but he is going to blink out. North is also around, and they're going to re-engage.
Yes, sir. And the Coliseum is going to come up as they're going to be looking to put 2 members down from the Flow State Warriors.
This is so interesting. Ooh. That was a good play, because I was going to say it's going to be a Prime fight. And they lost the jungler.
Cooking up now, using some of that advantage, we are going to see a rotation.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm like, that's a fight.
Prime buff. Right now, the Flow State gamers are in a situation they were hoping to avoid. It is going to be 3, maybe hoping, praying to get a nab here. However, they have some advantage, and that is going to be Bri, the eviscerator,
yep, they got it.
The obliterator.
That's so big.
But it is not going to be enough for this instance, as the neutral objective is going to go over in favor of D-Lab Falcon.
I mean, it's trying to get back into the game. That's one way of doing it. They killed the jungler, they killed the off-laner because of the rotation from the dual lane, which was perfect timing. The grab grenade from Lakenator meant that Peak could not go.
There we go. That's what I want to see.
And that saved that team.
Oh no!
And as soon as Zer's dead, they couldn't really do anything. Primal Fangtooth is now also spawning, and all 5
I need
members
to
of
see the
D-Lab
tab.
are alive.
Poggy
with
D,
that
what
Orb
up,
fight.
Poggy
Couldn't really do
D?
anything. And even
It's
with
been a
the
minute.
Fangtooth on the
Poggy,
side of Flow State,
how you
this is
doing?
not necessarily a good
Poggy,
fight for
come
them to take,
commentate with
though
me.
it might be a required one because
1 second, I
a
want
double
to
barrel
see.
at 22 minutes
wanna
into
see
the
that.
game will make the inhibitors fall.
Scoreboard.
100%.
Lobber
It is
augmentation.
going to be North looking
They
to
fighting?
make Jay fall. Maybe overextending
They're
a
fighting.
little bit. It's going to be called
Oh
out.
my
It's
God.
a notification that does come up in order to limit the space to some
Oh
degree.
my
Of course,
God.
Dorsey looks for the backline. Big skewer does get huge, as now it is going to be.
No one has
looking for the
tainted
1v2,
for
but
him.
he's
He got
only
a
gonna be
full
able to
heal
fight
off that
in
ult.
1v2.
Oh God,
It's
he's
not
getting
quite over
obliterated
yet, as
though.
Lauder's gonna be looking to
What's
lob some
Peak's
damage.
build?
Knowledge comes up as once again they look to knock
Oh
Silver
my
down,
God.
but the blink expended. It is
Run.
the flow state
Run.
to be able to create a little bit of space for themselves, but will it
Oh.
be enough? Because Lakeinator is
They're not gonna kill him.
Blink and Jay
What killed
will
him?
survive, but only for a moment.
What
as
killed
Happy
him?
Picker picks up not one but
Mega?
2 kills for D
Mega proc?
Lab. They are cooking after a slow early and mid game. Falcon. This team feels
Mega
like they're
proc
coming alive.
at that was a while.
They are doing exactly what
How
they
did
need
he
to do.
die?
North may be a bit
Gideon
too
Rock
aggressive,
already
but
came
the
through.
blink on
He already used
Jay
Gideon Rock. He was
wasn't
already
enough to
past
make
the
sure
wall.
Jay could not basically do anything in this fight. Vi also took a sizable amount of damage on the side of Lorber, and Peak was perfectly kited. He had to use his ultimate earlier, and then Colosseum afterwards meant that he was completely locked down. There is no jungler for the side of D-Lab, but neither is there for Flow State, so this should be an easy primal Fangtooth for the side of Flow State.
What I do?
And
Rampage
considering
ult?
how delayed it is compared to the Orb 5, they are going to have some time where Orb 5 is going to run off, but the primal Fangtooth does stay. So again, fighting into this is
Thank you
not
for
a
giving
good
real life
idea for
Rampage
Flow
ult. What up,
State,
Dylan?
and they are
Passive?
basically
I think he was
lost
too
most of
far
their
from the
lead.
passive.
Another thing I do want to have a
I
look
thought
at
he was
is
too
how
far
the
from the
Flow State
too far,
is
and I thought he
having
broke
a
line of sight. We didn't have the
so
best
we'll have a
angle.
look at the
But it was a
CS teams,
while.
both teams,
It was a
if
long
they are
time.
able to do that at any point.
So that's why I'm
Because I feel like
I'm
both
curious
teams
about
are
that.
farming quite well. Actually, as I say that,
There's a
D-Lab have
tab.
100 CS lead
He
compared
went
to the side of
tainted.
Flow State.
So 2 people have
This is
tainted. He
why
doesn't have
I
tainted.
think
They couldn't
that they
apply
are able
tainted
to
on.
do this much, because although they
Wait, no,
were
that's
behind the kill
wrong
behind
tainted. I meant to look
objectives,
at these
they were
guys.
still farming up. They were still getting those items. And at the end of the day, that is what makes you powerful in this game.
Yes, sir, 100%. I cannot agree more. You can do all the damage, you can get all the kills, you can even get a couple neutral objectives, but if that farming is not efficient, if there is a gap on the CS, well, the other team is always going to have an avenue to put themselves back into the game, and that's something that we have seen D-Lab do throughout the entirety of not only this
What's up,
tournament, but the
Junebug?
stretch
No, he
here
had that
within the
artifact that
competitive
reversed
scene.
him in
They
time,
are
allowed him
gonna
to
be able
rock
lock
again.
themselves down some minions.
Did he
As we start
time?
to see
No way. He
Lakeinator
would have
looking for a
teleported back.
reset, and
I actually
Happy
wasn't paying
Picker looking
attention to
steal
that.
a little bit more of that gold, of that advantage.
No, he has
as
Soul Bearer. He
looks
doesn't
like
have
they are
artifact.
going to just
No
be
one has
working with the
artifact. Yeah, I
primordial
didn't see
fight
that.
and maybe reset and look for a pick before starting to make a play on a couple of these tier 2s or inhibitors that are going to be left up. Falcon, as we make it to this stage of the game, Flow State has been hit with the Uno reverse card, and I would even say a +4, that hand size looking a little bit full. They find themselves in a seat where I was asking you about D-Lab earlier. They now have to set up
He
and
clipped him with the
execute,
horizontal rock
keyword being
again. Huh.
execute a great defense.
But
who
I felt like it was
has
just so far
gone
away.
for this team that has now just picked up so much momentum for Falcon.
It was just the angle. Camera angle was
And they
tough
still
though.
have actually recalled and spent most of their gold, because they have gained so much from just taking these objectives. Flow State still has tons to take on the map to actually gain this much gold, and
How did he rock
although,
so
you know,
quickly
kills
again? That's what I'm
and
saying.
CS
I don't know. I
have
felt
an
like that was pretty
advantage
quick. I mean,
either way.
they're
It
like
is
what?
these
At that
turrets
point,
that are
they were
going
level
down, which
11.
is causing the most of this
RMB
gold,
is
advantage for
halfway.
D-Lab
It's
at
probably
this stage of the
almost
game.
maxed
What
out.
Flow State
He went
really
Mega
needs to
Cosm,
do
so he
is
gets
still just
15 ability
continue
haste,
playing
and I
around
think
Bly is still fed. There is no way against that. He is playing.
he went. So he has good ability haste.
Kill the entirety of D-Lab in a team fight. But if he isn't in the correct position, if D-Lab can just jump on him and Flow State aren't able to support him well, it doesn't matter. So that is what they need to do, and most likely the next team fight around the Orb Prime will decide on who wins this game.
25 haste. No, it's
It is gonna
15.
decide who
15
wins
plus.
this
Is
game,
it 10
but
ability
also
haste?
who is going to be able to
I don't
proceed
remember. I know
into
Mega
the
is
finals. That's
15, but I
where
don't
it
remember.
loses.
I think it went
This
to 10,
matchup is
10
gonna
to
have
10
to
haste. So it's
continue
probably
to work
25
a
haste, which
little
is
bit
close to
harder in order to
25%.
keep the dream
So
of
he
making
probably
it
is
to the
at
final
like 7
bracket
seconds.
alive. And right now,
30
one thing
haste.
that does need to be touched upon
Is
the
it
resiliency
15?
that
I don't
we
know if it's
saw out of
15 or
D-Lab
10
here within
for
that
Tainted
earlier segment of the game,
Scepter.
losing those large neutral camps in the Fangtooths as well as falling behind, if I recall
It's kind of crazy how
correctly,
often we've
5
seen
to
a
1
Gideon
on the
ult
kill
and
board at
fully
one
ult
point
too.
within
They have a
this
lot of ways to
game.
cancel
They
it,
just
but
continued to play their game, and now they're doing exactly what you said. They're kind of playing behind North as well as some of their other engagers, such as this Arch, who's been expert at breaking up the team fight, as well as his FaZe, who may be an unsung hero of this match, being able to create separation for the absolutely fed Lakeinator to be able to free cast the strongest spell in the game, and it's called Bullets, being able to shed through some of this HP. But now Bry looking to get some damage off on North. He's going to be able to force out the blink from it.
North flash, right?
I don't think North needed a blink
Prime's
there.
up.
I do think he blinked because he didn't know where the rest of Flow State was. If he got caught by multiple members, it might have been a disaster, and he cannot afford to die at this point. And yeah, I definitely agree with you. Toasty has been doing great this game. He has been able to keep the backline of D-Lab alive, and I mean, FaZe does feel very underrated.
I miss the
in
pen on
current sort of
Tainted.
play,
Me
'cause
too.
Tira has played it
Me too.
once, I believe,
It made it
since
more
playing
like,
State
yes,
VE
definitely want to
went
buy
on
that.
against
I think
Indecisive.
there's only like
Professors
3 pen items now too.
refuse
2
to
pen
play
items.
against it at any point in time.
Except
they always
Caustic's
burst ban
percent
it.
pen.
And
And you don't even
we are
build
kind of
pen
seeing why.
into...
Allpipe
Caustic's
has now
weird. I
spawned
think
as well.
Caustica
Final
should have
Fangtooth
10
is
pen
gonna
on
be
it.
up
Unreally.
within 30 seconds, so there is a chance for teams to
Maybe
trade
that's too
out those
OP.
objectives. Of course, Allpipe is great for sieging.
Like you build
and those extra
Caustica
stats,
and then it just
but
has
Fangtooth
penetration
has
on
so
it.
much damage
Yeah, only
connected
2
to it
flat pins.
that
That's what I
any sort of
thought.
team fight they will just be able to win. And D-Lab wants that. They want to be able to win these team fights. And it looks like Flow State are going to concede it and go and try to do the objective of the Allpipe. But they might be a bit late.
Yes, sir. Looking for a little bit of a
a trade.
a one-to-one trade per se. You can have that primal Fangtooth.
Oh,
and
man.
we'll take the
What is
Prime,
Peak
but
doing?
The rotation possibly a little bit behind. Nonetheless, they are going to be
Primal is
able to
strong
Prime
right
one
now.
With that Primordial Blaze, Lobber is now going to be looking.
This is a good play.
Here
This is a
as
very
the
good
Coliseum
play.
Does come down, but the damage is not going to
Oh
be there
my
immediately to be able to
God.
follow it up. It is going to be a black hole that comes out of the Gideon. However, not getting one. It is
Oh
going to be
my
the back
God.
line. Simba on the front line, who's going to be the first one to go down, as it is going to be a combination of Bree as well as
Wow.
Packer, who are going to catch the bad side of North's dual axis. So much damage, and even more so
Wow.
much CC being able to split up the team fight utilizing that Coliseum. This is going to be 3.
That was a really good
members
play
down
by
here,
Lobber,
Falcon, and it is
having
going to
2
be
people
D-Lab
like
who are looking
that.
for inhibitors.
Wow.
They are definitely getting this inhibitor. I don't think they'll gain much more because of the way Stage Peak did a good job. But they don't care about the other inhibitors. They're just going to go for the end. There's 2 people alive on the side of Flow State. It's not a massive minion wave. Fly has got good wave clear. So if he can get and deal with it, it's going to be good. But Lorba is just going to completely isolate him. Peak is also on the back line. The damage is going to go onto the core as long as possible.
Wow.
But the damage is enough from D-Lab. They do
Wow.
not care about the rest of the map. They are going
That was
to
insane,
take
actually.
this game in a dominant fashion from that mid game. As soon as they got that All Prime,
That was a
their
very
game,
quick
and they
core
are gonna
destroy,
be
too.
in our main event in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Congratulations to the lads, Lakeinator, Toasty, Epic North, the entire
Wow.
home, and being able to confirm their spot here within the finals in just 2 weeks' time. Falcon, you said it 1-to-1. You can have the early game because we're going to take
That
the
was
mid,
crazy,
we're gonna take the late,
actually.
and we're going to take the win, and we're going to take our spot. In 2 weeks, we're going to see them progress. Wow. We may see Flow.
I
State, but
thought
they're gonna have to work really harder
Simba's team was
for it.
gonna cook that. I thought
Falcon,
F8 was actually
amazing
gonna
game for
cook that
them.
really well.
Congratulations and thanks to both of
I was
these
surprised.
teams.
Simba got caught a lot, and
Yeah, I
what
mean,
what
Flow
what,
State
what won
did
the
pretty
game?
well in that early game.
What
They
won the
got
game?
ahead, they did what
Objectives.
they needed to do,
And what
but
beat
it was some
Primal? What beat
overextension
Prime?
getting
Primal.
picked in that mid game, especially for Simba and
Yeah,
Falcon,
that
ran that
Coliseum was a
All-Prime
very
did
smart
lead
play.
that to eventually fall. And although Bry was fed, he just wasn't able to take part in these team fights. Of course, they are going to be able to play in the lower bracket finals for the final spot from the groups. And I mean, I really want to see what the desk thinks of that game because D-Lab, they played from behind and they played it beautifully. So I'll see what they can say on the desk.
The main thing I want to say, Falcon, never give up, never surrender. even when fighting from behind, we've seen D-Lab have a bunch of very good defenses in previous PCCs. There was one seeding round, they had gotten behind Team Rogue. They were down like super hard early. They ended up being able to come in, defend that. We see a repeat of that, and why D-Lab has one of the reputations of the best late game defensive teams in it. Mugi, what's your takeaway from what we just saw and D-Lab being our first team to qualify?
Well, like Flow State was like playing super well. The early game was super clean, but as a team, when you're facing a team that starts to steamroll you, you just have to still do what you can, which is basically keep your CS up, try to trade some stuff on the map, and your goal is not to fall too far behind. So when an opportunity presents itself, you can actually try to grab it, and that's exactly what Dirty Lake and the boys have done.
They had
early game, not falling too far behind.
When they have orb, killing or two
saves
the match, that was smart. They could have up that.
Suddenly they get an orb prime, they start to turn things around.
They probably didn't think about
suddenly
it, to be
they're in
honest
control
with
of
you.
the game, and they never let go.
One of them
They
held the
simply,
blink too long.
pull the
That was
W
one
at the
issue.
end,
And then he
kinda
caught out
managed to
from
prove
that. It was a
something
very
that
good
with
opening. I
Slobber,
think there was a slight
they are
delay with people
undefeated.
kind of going, "Oh no, should we help them?" and blah 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 blah.
That's a good
Prime-
point.
Primal
Joe,
beats
what do
Prime.
you think about Flow State and what happened to them? within
Prime
that
lasts
game? Where do you think
longer
it started
though
to
if
go
you
wrong?
have
Yeah, like
If you
Mugi
have,
mentioned, the other game was well executed. They even
Bang through
predicted
the
the
buff,
North
number one.
invade on Chimera, and where they pick up 3 kills early on. However, things started to get a little shaky in mid to late game, where it seemed like they were trying to make plays, knowing that they were ahead. However, all the lead was actually mainly on the Argus.
That I mean, I'm gonna play Chimera. Chimera's strong, man.
Had the most
Chimera's
kills and most
very
damage on
strong.
the team, with Jay kind of being just there, right? And it almost seemed like they really needed to play around the Argus more than anything, but they were making a lot of side lane plays without the Argus, and when you don't have your main win condition there, that's where when you think is you're ahead, you actually just make some really bad plays on the mid to late game side. So it was just kind of really shaky. They really need to play around the Argus a lot more, I feel like, but I don't think they were doing as good a job they could have right there.
I completely agree with you, Joe. So that does, like we said, put D-Lab into our main event. It also sets up a very good and determining match between two of the better teams, in my opinion, with Rogan and having to take on Flow State for the final spot from the group. Before we get into that, we've got another one that will determine.
I don't know if they should have. I mean, fighting would have helped, but honestly, they would have lost.
The chefs,
I mean, in general, that was just a good play by him. And Primal's king, and they abused Primal right there. They abused Primal when only 2 of them were alive.
That's going to be it.
And they were very split up. It was a very solid plays. Very good plays. That was it. It was a very smart team play. And smart plays.
Thank you for having me. Of course, you can find me on Twitch and also like on YouTube under Mugiwawa. But more importantly, like if you're interested in getting better in the game, go check my website predacademy.com, where I put all my guide and also like some tournament write-ups.
Where they finally dropped a good counter skin? What do you mean I see no? What do you mean they dropped the
Joey,
new
why don't you plug what you got going on?
Did they?
Yeah, then you
Did
guys
they?
can having me. You can
Did
find
anything
me
come
on
out?
YouTube at Joe Yours Truly. And you can also find me on Twitter at Joe Yours Truly for more up to date stuff from me, or if you want to see dog pictures from time to time. Over
I don't see anything.
Perfect. So, like we said, congratulations to D-Lab for qualifying. We will be back in just a second with the chefs taking on Midnight Anthem. North over here in the dual lane once again. Zihi is going to get silenced, going to get pulled. Has to use the double jump and the blink, but it doesn't matter. Neff's going to snipe him down, put him on the board, F6.
Jeez.
Toasty blinks forward, finds the skewer.
Check the
Toasty
Twitter, next
pulls
patch.
him back, and the villains pull ahead.
Big shield slam from
Whoa!
to send them back down.
Whoa!
In tomorrow's semi-finals.
Whoa!
The Shin be spotted off into the off, and I think this is going to be a trigger because now they have the numbers.
I'm a little bit iffy on this one. I really hope
they get this neutral objective. They can.
I'm iffy on this one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a little iffy on this one. I have to see it in game. This is super cool. This shit reminds me of like Gundam.
The back door on the first game of semis is absolutely criminal.
That reminds me of Gundam.
as we do see a Fang 2 fight gonna happen, all 5v4 here.
That's Wraith, right? Yeah. That looks clean.
But good God, the damage is insane coming out. The villains are getting
I gotta be
shredded.
careful. I gotta be careful on Twitter reading comments. Twitter is such a dog shit. Twitter is a dog shit thing. I need to be careful going on Twitter. I literally be looking up stuff, bro, and next thing I scroll down, boom, straight up like OnlyFans, straight up tits. Like it's like, why?
It looks
I don't understand why that's so common. And people like that shit too. I'm like, what? Why? Publicly? I don't know. There's a time and place for everything, right? The Countess one looks cool. It looks cool, but I'm just iffy about it. What up, Bri? What's cooking? Bri, I was literally watching that and I was going, holy shit, F8 is cooking. Flow State is cooking. You were cooking. Man. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I was counting on you guys. Honestly, I was like, you guys are absolutely cooking.
On the way, they're going to look toward the collapse onto
They just caught you out so many times, and Primal beats Prime, and that lobber play was phenomenal. That was a lobber play. I never would have assumed that. I don't know. I just never would have expected that. That was a very good play by. If Lobber did not think that through, you guys would still be in that game, and I think you guys could have won it. I think you guys had the clear. They didn't. You know, and I was like, oh man.
But even worse timing, still pushing forward. Import with the up down.
So close, so close.
And this might be the fight they were looking for. Toasty next on the chopping block, gonna take him down, and that means there's no one left to stop even worse timing taking this core. The crown's on the floor. Pick it up, dust it off, put it back on your head. Even worse timing are your two-time PCC.
That's a cool champion thing on top. That's that one. That cinematic slap. Simba was lagging. I was gonna say Simba was getting caught a lot, to be honest with you. That's what I saw. Simba getting caught on the Prime was, oh man, before Prime was taken. That's honestly what in theory I think lost it. But that's how strong Prime is. Prime buff is so I want to watch a league tourney and I want to see if that's how strong it is in league tourneys. I actually have not paid attention now that I'm a much higher skilled player in MOBAs, because I was not like this when I played RuneScape. When I played League, I was very casual in League of Legends. I love the hug animation. I would single-handedly master this character just to have the hug. Look at the people dancing behind him. It was a good match to watch. It was a very good match to watch. Is it Flow State versus Chefs next? It is. This is going to be a good game too. They traded their mid. No, not mid. Steaks joined them to be the jungler or off lane, I think. Hey, what up, Lust? What's cooking, baby? How you doing? We're watching PCC. Missed a really good match. It was a really good match earlier. Just sitting down for some games. I feel that. I played some Dragon's Dogma before starting the stream up. I was enjoying it. I still have no idea how to play Dragon's Dogma, to be honest with you. I found the story concept really boring, so I just decided to explore the world and kill stuff. I hope that doesn't like limit me at all. I also turned into an assassin now instead of a warrior, and it's so much more enjoyable playing as an assassin. Warrior felt so basic. Sandrock? What's Sandrock? Dragon Dogma is fun, but be warned, you have a kid, right? That game is a big walking simulator, which has its pros and cons, because you explore the world. At the same time, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to explore a world, or do you want to just fight people? That's the one con when it comes to Dragon's Dogma. It's very explore the worldy. So you're kind of killing the same small monsters. Then you see like a big monster, you start fighting it, and then sometimes the big monster can run away. I almost killed the griffin, and then it got stuck and bugged into a wall, and I couldn't actually hit it or climb it to knock it back down. Then it just flew away. It was stuck for literally like over 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm so close to killing him, and I can't do anything. He's literally stuck in the wall. That's it, gone. All that time wasted. Oh, really? Playing a game like that would be pretty nice. I love doing Harvest Moon. When I just wanted to chillax when I was younger, I play Harvest Moon on the PSP Go. Those were good times. Stardew Valley felt too slow for me. I didn't like the movement style that Stardew Valley had. I could probably download a mod and increase the speed. So I'll probably give Stardew a try again. Harvest Moon? Harvest Moon 64, really? I played, I think I did Game Boy Harvest Moon and PSP Go Harvest Moon were the only ones that I played. I was so invested in the Game Boy one, because in the Game Boy one, there was like a spot, I believe, that was like,
welcome
the
back,
lady
everybody.
comes...
I am still Lance, and I've got a new pair with me here as
This is
Grady
so loud.
and Tang have
Hey, it's
joined me.
Grady.
Tang, why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
Introduce myself, sorry. Okay.
That's fine, Greg.
Tang?
Go first, please.
No, I'm good, Tag. You're the veteran. I'm so sorry. I had to unmute myself, so I'm a little off tempo with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, we're perfect. Yeah, I'm Tang. I'm casting for PCC. Like I did one of the earlier games today, and before that I was playing as well. I was on Immune. I did win the second PCC, but yeah, just full-time casting, or not full-time, but like...
Oh, they just do an analyst? They're just talking now. I remember you had to like go and meet like your friend who was she would go to the moon, or you'd watch the moon. That was the last time you saw her. So every single night I would go to that spot and talk and like try to find her. And I was like, 9 years old, like, where is my friend? Where are
I've played
they?
with D-Lab, I've played with Rogue. I've probably played a couple other times, and I can't remember who I played with really, but I'm always second or third or 8th place Andy, so that's me.
Well, we're super happy that we were able to steal you away for this event, and we did just see D-Lab make it into our main event. We don't have the other two groups being followed live on the broadcast, so I do just want to give an update that both Professors and Indecisive have won their groups as well, going 2-0 on the day. So Professor's still 7-0 so far in this event. We have 3 teams that
True
have
romantic,
qualified, but we are
exactly.
about
I was
to
like,
get
I need to
forward
find out where
as the
she. I
winner
need to
of
find
this
who.
game between Midnight Anthem
What's up,
and
bro?
the Chefs will
Hey, Sir
determine
Player, I paid the
fourth
follow, homie.
team
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
qualify for it.
Having a
Randy,
phenomenal
do you have
day.
any expectations for what we'll see in this match out of either of these teams?
I expect the normal strong showing from the Chefs. I will say Midnight Anthem has been doing pretty well so far, so hopefully they can show us what they got. in this
Who's
game.
Midnight Anthem's team?
What do you think, Tang?
They beat P-Tab, right?
Yeah,
Let
I
me
think Chef's
go look
probably
at
quite an overdog, I think.
Let me look at
Midnight
PCC's
Anthem,
things.
They put on a strong showing against P-Tab before, so definitely a lot of known names in that team as well, right? I'm thinking
No names.
win.
Hey, Mr. Luz.
Definitely some good players.
I appreciate the
as well,
YouTube sub, homie. Thank you.
I don't know.
Hope you're having a
Looking at
phenomenal
core,
day.
let's see here.
I need to remember to
Size,
not
really
talk
good
when
man,
my
it's
guy
needs
is screaming,
kind
because
of
I don't know if you
crossed
can
out
even
door.
hear me. I appreciate it, homie. Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
so too. Do you, before we get into this draft, as we should be pulling it up any second now, Tang?
That goes
do
into
you
my
think
Harvest
any of these
Moon
heroes in specific will be
investment box
prioritized by
to
either
get
of
more
these
chicken
teams?
eggs. to then
I
sell
mean, I could always give like the easy
in the box
answer,
that you
right,
put
which is
chicken eggs
the Argus,
into.
of course. Like,
I think that was the
people
only way I
love
made money
playing
in
that
Harvest
one. Is
Moon.
maybe a bit overtuned. We just saw Bry absolutely rock that hero, and otherwise, like
Goes into the, what do you call it? The Stardew Valley Koifer.
Perfect. We should be getting into the bans as the draft is ready. Grady, I know you've had a little bit of familiarity with some of these Chefs players as you've gone head to head with them a couple of times. Who's kind of like the highlight of that team in your opinion?
I mean, of course, everybody's definitely going to give it to Cold. I mean, Cold is definitely the backbone of the team. They've done a lot of Protect the President comps, and it's worked with a lot of success. Sneaks recently transitioned over to the off lane, and he's actually been doing really well. So I give him a lot of props, and, you know, Seismic and mid, always holding it down.
Yeah, and we see the Beleka being.
Did you guys see the new? I know we discussed it. Did you guys see the new skins coming out?
Smart, right?
For anyone that has coming,
the
new Pred skins
Beleka would actually be one of those lane counters,
are
right?
coming
So
in
if you
version
are
0.17. I'm surprised why they announced them now and didn't put them on PCC. It would have brought a lot of hype to PCC.
Pick potentially without sort of the lane counter in the mid lane.
Yeah, Belka always just a safe ban, very strong character. You can flex it mid, you can flex it support. It's gonna do well no matter where you put it. I'm interested to see what the.
And the most like non-degen way, I really hope that she doesn't have that much armor on.
Make sure that Midnight Anthem doesn't pick one of those up.
I'm like the assassin type of person. I like the light armor type of builds, right? Like I like the small armor. So it's not degen papaya talking right now. It's what I like to see in an assassin. I don't want Countess to look bulky. That's what I'm worried about. I found Wraith's pretty nice. Wraith is very nice. A lot of the armor is very lock on tight. You know, I like that a lot. The helmet,
yeah,
gotta see it in game.
Really
Looks
chefs,
interesting.
right? They have very open hero pools.
I'm usually not the biggest fan of
and
helmets,
even
to
if
be
you're
honest
looking
with you.
to pick something up
Anytime
here, you
I
have to make
can,
sure
I get
that
rid
you're
of
picking
helmets. I
something
like
up that's
seeing
gonna be
hair.
strong for your team, not necessarily something that's gonna deny the chefs, right? Like, you know, Sneaks.
Geisha Countess wouldn't even be cool too. Geisha, what?
So, you know, that's a
What
character
do you
you
mean?
always try to take away from him in the first pick here. Argus is good in
Geisha
mid and support,
Countess?
so
What's
you could
Geisha?
always look to pick him here as well. Or Richter, you can't ever go wrong with Richter, right? Big Rick with the hooks, he's a game changer.
And with like most of the priority picks still being open, obviously first pick, first ban. But now we see the Argus being picked, but that leaves like the Rampage open. You just mentioned
That's interesting to see how he
leaves
banned.
the Saras open.
Who's on midnight?
Picks. We also know that chefs, having picked up Seismic, love the Gideon as well, as we see the Quang being locked in. But also heroes like the Saras also proved to be really impactful. Just having that big team fight ultimate and together with like potential mage lockdown as well could be really impactful. But Quang being picked up could be offlane, could be jungle as well.
I've seen these guys play.
Yeah, definitely hard to say, pretty flexible, but with how well Sneaks has been playing on it, I feel pretty confident it's going to go over to the offlane. So I'm interested to see what the chefs are going to lock in for their second pick as well. As will it be AD? Will it be
Let's see what happens.
Richter? Will it be a mid laner even?
I think it's going to be a chef's
see
game. But if Midnight Anthem has such a good team cohesion, damn, that'd be impressive.
That role already
that'd be very impressive.
With the Argus being picked up as well.
Their carry is ranting, but I don't. Ranting was on my team, so I don't think it's ranting anymore.
If we go later into the drafts, it's always a possibility.
And Cold has been killing it with ADC recently.
Was a flex pick that could theoretically go into 3 different rows, but generally we do see it in the support role.
Yeah, I can't imagine seeing Sneaks piloting this one in the offlane, so I'm thinking this is going to go to Mav or Zihi, both of them being pretty strong Richter players, so I'm excited to see either one of them piloting. I'm going to assume it's probably going to go over to Zihi, and the Richter pick is nice too because it does reduce the amount of control that Midnight Anthem can draft with that Argus. A lot of teams have been prioritizing very strong control comps with centered around the Argus, so I really want to see what Midnight Anthem pick. Maybe like a Decker, or something along those lines to pair well with that Argus.
Yeah, definitely. The Argus could still be in mid or support as well, right? So maybe they don't really want to ban pick a support quite yet to maybe leave that flex open. But as we mentioned before, mid pool pretty pinched already. Now we see the
Chimera
Drongo being locked in, a safe ADC together with a sort of jungler that has early control, easy objective control as well. Can just sort of clear pretty fast in the early game, but potentially falls off in the late game.
Yeah, very strong core 3 for the team comp of Midnight Anthem so far. Lots of
If
map
Kwang, it's a
control
really
with
nice
Kai.
route,
Thinking they
and
pick up
Drongo
that Kai, assuming
misplaces
that the Richter might be
himself.
going into
It
the
could be
jungle, or
interesting.
just because it does well into the Richter.
Argus though, the Argus
Always a
support is
safe AD
probably
pick,
it.
as we saw earlier. It's been getting like the pick ban rate of it right now is in the 80 percentile. So very high priority pick for all of the teams so far in the PCC.
Yeah, we just saw in the
TB
D-Lab
is
series that
up.
they love to pick it in the first rotation. Now Midnight Anthem up to do the same second rotation, but it still counts. The Drongo being picked up. We are
See
waiting
if
for
Chef
Chefs
picks up
to pick
TB.
one more character. Could still be pretty much everything, honestly, with their
Yeah, they picked the
two heroes
Gideon.
being sort of flex. No, we go the Seismic classic. We go
Seismic's
for the
their
Gideon pick.
Seismic's
Now we
their mid
transition
now.
into the
Forgot.
banning phase, which we see
So
instantly.
Sneaks
the Saras
went from
being banned
Simba's
away.
team to go into off lane.
So it looks like Chefs were doing their homework, or they were watching the broadcast earlier before their game. They saw Wumba's stand-up performance on the Xeris. They said that Xeris might also have a decent matchup into the Kwang. So Wumba, no Xeris for you this game.
Yeah, definitely. Sarah's being banned away. It's also like one of those skill matchups as the Kwang, right? So might as well just get rid of it. Kwang generally has pretty good lane matchups in that offlane if it really does go there. Midnight Anthem does have another ban. Like here, I'm sort of like thinking, like, what do they want to ban away? Like ADC is still open, could always ban that away. Otherwise, is most likely gonna be the jungle pick also still open. A bit surprised that the Rampage actually made it through this far. So that could be one potential ban for Midnight Anthem, since Chefs is gonna have. Wait, actually, Decker being banned away, excuse me, and then the steal being picked up?
The Decker ban is definitely a very interesting one for me. I would have liked to see an AD ban because it's safer. You don't know where this Richter's going, right?
This is
So
all
it could still be
interesting.
flexed into
They're
support.
very
So
scared of
Decker
the
could very well
support.
be just a wasted ban, but Decker being something I guess that Midnight Anthem just doesn't want to deal with. They don't want to take the chance of the Richter jungle and the Decker support. The steal pick into the Kwang, very interesting. I don't see this matchup all too much, and we haven't really seen it too much in the event so far.
I hate
unless I'm
crybaby
mistaken.
losers.
So very interested to
They
see
need
how
a
this is
jungler to
going to play
babysit
out.
them.
I'm
To
assuming Kwang is going to be in control of a lot of that lane. But now we have
I'm sorry to
Chefs
hear that, Bulwark.
next two picks here. They need to
Man, my
still pick
boy
up their
Howie. I
AD,
was
and we
surprised
still
to
gotta
see a
figure out where
howitzer
this
ban, to
Richter's
be
going.
honest
Is it
with
going to
you.
be the support, or is it
Because
going to
he's
be the jungle?
punishable. Howie
So
definitely
this-
isn't
the
there
next two
unless
picks are
like
gonna help us
Midnight
figure that
Anthem
out.
has just a really strong mid
So,
laner.
Gracia, I
on Howie.
might be completely wrong here. Like, I'm a bit confused by the pick order here. But yeah, Kira being picked up, so is the Greystone. So, a Kira Richter lane most likely. And then the Greystone most likely in the jungle, actually. Could be offlane, as you mentioned. But Greystone, or like Kwang, is one of the heroes that Sneaks really likes to play in that offlane. So, is most likely gonna end up there. But yeah, pretty strong dual lane, honestly. Kira Richter. Like, if the Richter hits a pull, it just seems to be nights out for the
There, I could
Drongo. Most likely steel lane.
Although it's
These two characters are
need
pretty
the
deadly.
context,
However, there is a
Bulwark.
very low
But
priority
yeah, I
lane,
don't know.
like
It
Kira
depends.
low clear, Richter low clear, and he's a melee character as well. So he has.
If
does
the
have to
Belka's
gain
a
easily
shutdown,
close
I
to
would
those
die for it
minions.
though.
And Drongo
Oh,
can
that's
just pull
that's
to
actually
make it
that's
a
kind of
difficult time
cringe.
for them to lane.
No one should be
However, if they do
taking.
hit that hook, like you
That's
said, we are
those
going
people
to
are
be seeing
annoying.
some kills. I will say, however, with this draft, I'm pretty sure this Greystone's going jungle. Knowing Mav, he really loves that Greystone pick into a Chimera jungle. It is a very strong matchup. And then we see the last pick for Midnight Anthem going to be the Narbash. So Drongo, Narbash lane. I do think the Kira Richter will have a
Is it
decent
already
time,
3
especially having
o'clock
that big
for a
hitbox
Soul
Narbash,
parade?
for the Richter.
2:30.
Yeah, I thought that the Steel was actually a better matchup into the Richter than the Narbishes, but now the Steel is gonna be in the off lane, most likely against the Kwang, which is also not necessarily the best matchup for Wumba, especially against Sneak's Kwang. But yeah, that being said, looks like an interesting way to round out the draft. The Narbash provides a lot of late game scaling with the Chimera maybe giving the sort of transition through the early to mid game. And hopefully, if they're still alive at that point, it can be Narbash just being the game changer for them.
So we have our compositions locked in. The winner of this qualifies for our main event on April 20th. Loser has to get through another game in order to get to that
Ads.
spot.
You guys
do
are
have
getting
our
ads and I'm
captors
not
ready.
getting
We do
paid?
Have the game ready, so we're
I
gonna
thought
throw
there's
it
no
over to
ads on my
Spooky Mars
stream.
and Tedium.
Thank you so much to Lance and the desk. Thank you for grabbing.
Hey,
for
Spooky
making an
Mars.
appearance
Spooky
today.
Mars is
We've
really good
seen him
with
here
his
at the
casting.
PCC. The TDM, one thing we have seen many times has been the chefs. Throughout these tournaments, they've made plays after plays upon plays, and they've consistently been one of the top performers. Going up against Midnight Anthem.
I don't
So
mind
one of
ads,
these
but they're
teams
so cringe.
certainly has their work cut out for them.
I do have
Something to
ads
be
on my
said for the
YouTube
fact that they're
videos.
both here.
But I feel like it's a different story, right? You can always pause a
Chefs,
YouTube video and
so
whatnot.
strong, in
A
fact, that
stream,
they
you can't
almost
really do
were the
that.
5-0 team
So,
yesterday.
like I said,
They,
I mean, in
ended up
reality,
falling to
if
the
I'm not,
Professors,
I won't
but,
throw ads in
still
until I'm,
really, really
making a living
solid
off of
performance
streaming.
coming
Streaming
out
is
of
fun
them.
and casual.
Midnight Anthem also a relatively solid
YouTube
performance.
content, especially the guides and whatnot, those actually take up a lot of time.
So they're also quite strong. They had 3
Streaming
wins, 2
doesn't take
losses,
up any of my
but now
time.
they're facing
I'm
up
gonna
against a
stream
pretty
playing my
strong
game.
opponent
Like
in
I'm
the
gonna play
Chefs.
my game no matter what. I'll throw the stream on.
Just taking a look
You know,
over
and what? I'm gonna
the
make
stats here.
maybe a
Obviously,
few
we've seen
bucks if
some
anything. I
high-priority picks
don't.
come out.
That's not
We've
life
seen,
changing.
obviously,
So
this
I don't
throughout
bother
the
with
Let's
ads
Say
on stream.
Drongo has obviously been a very strong pick. Just in general, I won't even say throughout the tournament. Just in general, Drongo is.
With YouTube, I just run ad
Looking
ad
at the draft
nauseum.
Midnight Anthem, right? Drongo and this Narbash in this dual lane, Argus in that mid lane as
I
well.
mean I have
Safety
ad
and
blocker on
power
YouTube.
there,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
up against what the chefs have drafted.
Doesn't
Where
care
do
if
you
we
think they're
steal from
looking
them.
to
Exactly.
find their, like, actual
I mean,
advantage
they're still
in this
getting the
game?
money
Make
off
no
the ads,
mistake,
and I'm sure that the
like
ads still are
Time
good.
said,
I just
they're
wish
limited
that you
of
get
an
ads that
underdog,
were
not
more
unwinnable.
valuable.
have to
Whoa,
approach
whoa,
this
whoa, whoa!
with your plan.
Late invade,
It might just be
late invade.
aggression
What is
right out
this?
the
Cold
gates here.
splitting up? Wild.
Well, luckily for Midnight Anthem, they do have that Argus, and I think Argus is incredibly strong. They also have this Drongo, who's been a priority pick for most
I'm
of the event.
surprised to
We
see
see D-Lab picking it in the first 2
Kira come
spots
out so
every
often
game,
actually
pretty much.
recently.
We see other
It
teams
makes
doing
sense
similar
though. She
things.
does do a lot of
Drongo has
damage.
become a really
I didn't
strong
add her
pick,
into my
and
meta list,
into
but
the Kira,
I
when it
was
comes to that late
borderline.
game,
Like I'm like
when
she
it
does a
comes
lot
to
of damage, but I didn't
Fortress
see her much.
Ultimates
But now I'm seeing
Online,
her a lot.
Mr. Cursor is going to be able to cancel out Cold's ults pretty easily. Salami, though, is going to be a bit of a victim until that point in the game because he is huge and Zihi can land a hook.
Oh, so
easily.
Mr.
That's
Cursor's
exactly
a
what
carry
he's looking
now.
to do, just zone out the enemy duo lane.
Yeah, it's going to be very dangerous early game for Midnight Anthem. They have to watch their positioning very carefully, make sure they're not stepping up too far. Because as you said, Zihi, he is always
Indo
looking
Complex
for
is
one of
doing
those holes.
2s instead of
Tommy does
taking
have the pump
4
to try
camp
to-
or 5 camp. Is
try to
pretty
dissuade
wild.
some of that aggression, but if you get pulled in, you're not really too happy about that, even if you land the stun
Yeah,
afterwards.
good pressure.
Meanwhile, this mid lane, Sej already taking a little bit of an advantage here. Out trades.
What is
the
this?
Argus.
He's waiting
Some
for
tons
river
of
buff
pressure.
too.
No kills just yet. Not forcing any resets, but it could open up some potential rotations.
This
Now,
Chimera is going to blue.
And the first rotation going into the jungle is this little bit of an invade coming from Indo, or it could be a gank onto the back. No, just an invade here onto the 3 camp. He elects not to go for the blue camp because, of course, Mav is in the area, and Mav would have spotted that out. But where he is right now on that,
This is
three,
a really
he's not
weird
seen by
invade.
anyone.
Yeah, so far, so good for both sides. Some skirmishes on either end of the map. But right now, it's mostly just looking at the farm, trying to make
He's going for a
sure
gank
he's
left.
upwards. Probably
Sneaks
looking
is
to try to get
low.
some ultimates online. As you mentioned, this dual lane a bit dangerous, but over here, Indo makes
Oh.
first rotation, and it's just like it said, Salami gets pulled in. Kodacia somehow alive
Wow.
with the barest sliver of health. Midnight Anthem have to walk away. They don't fall for it, but they
Oh, there's
might
Greystone. I was wondering where
remember it.
Greystone
Some
was.
trouble has to blink away. He survives for now. 3
They're
minutes
taking
in.
blue now.
Sparks
This is so
fly.
weird.
No
What
fun.
the heck is going on?
Yeah, they don't get any kills on either side, but Indo is looking to get that
What up,
blue buff,
Jaeger?
and with his
Does he?
entire duo lane
Yeah,
around
Jaeger,
him,
yeah,
he's
he gotta
able
show
to
it.
secure it.
I ain't gonna
Salami
believe it until
very
we see
lucky
it,
that he didn't
alright?
die, but even luckier is Cold, who survived at what, 1 HP? Oh, the rad round's just not enough. He might not have even had it. He was relying on the Drongo pass.
Need another hero that has their auto attack skill off magic power like
Resets, comes
Muriel.
back
I think we
to
might
lane.
see it. Oh, who's
Spotter
coming up?
reward. Careful, avoids the thunk.
Maybe
Walk back
maybe
in.
Jinx?
Now it's back to
Extra
parity
thick.
on this lane. Midnight Anthem is pushing forward in that lane. That means they're in a little bit of a dangerous position. It could open up a potential gank. Come out. What do you think? Where do you think we're looking to really find some aggression? Obviously, Mav on this Greystone, does he want to just farm up, get the ultimate online before he's making these ganks? Or do you think he's looking to try to get someone ahead early?
the chefs have really prioritized.
There's
getting
an evade
this
from
Fang
Gray.
Teeth
Wait,
really,
no.
really,
No,
really
sorry, I
good.
confused it.
Snowballing off Fang Teeth pretty consistently. He's looking to get a fight here on a Wumba, but with the tether missing, Wumba should be.
There's
safe to
Gray.
get this
He's
tower.
gonna go
Yeah,
to
as I was saying,
threes. What up,
really
Spartan?
focus
What's
on
cooking,
getting
baby? Who we
these Fang Teeth.
feeling?
I don't
I'm
expect them to
biased
be
towards
any
Chefs
different
right
this
now.
game.
I think Chefs got it.
Are the more
We'll see.
experienced
We'll
team,
see.
so
Anything can
once
happen.
They, start going
Apparently
with their action
Midnight has
plan
been
of Fang
cooking,
Teeth,
so
I think I just expect them to continue to keep their foot on the gas once they start.
So that now falls to Midnight Anthem to try to get ahead of that. Try to find some kind of advantage around those Fangtooth pits, or at least even footing, so they don't give things up for free. Question is, how
Who do you
quickly
guys
rotate
think?
over
Who do you
that
think
pit? How many
got the game?
people are they willing to put towards it to answer the chefs there? The chefs have shown they can take an early start to these games, or they can play
big chase
a
right here.
longer
Big
match.
chase potential right here.
Ooh,
Mav, yep, there.
The rotation, not many places.
Ooh.
This Argus
Oh!
Actually trying to find a way in, but the Richter
Nice.
pulls him back. Rock on the head.
Any
First
objective
blood
take?
comes
No,
through.
they're too far from
Chefs
Fang.
start things off 5.5 minutes in.
Is Zihi a supporter? Or is Zihi a jungler? What was he doing in mid already?
Hey, he's got places to be and people to pull, and he's apparently looking to get the chefs started up on something here. And apparently it's what they needed, right? They get the kill. They finally break open that mid lane. We've seen quite a bit of aggression between these two mid laners. Seismic throwing out a lot of damage, but not able to always confirm that kill. This is a nice step forward for them as Wumba. Also taking some damage. Bull Rush gets him back on the
Close.
tower.
Yeah, he didn't have any Q.
Not in a great spot there either, because look at Seismic. He's coming around as well.
Yeah, chefs.
Is being a
just
Hell
one thing
Diver
on the
enjoyer?
rotation. It doesn't matter what lane they're coming from.
I
they're
actually
always looking
uninstalled
to get
Hell
someone else in that
Divers
lane.
recently. I need friends to
Combo
play
there.
it.
Seismic, 2 rocks, 2 kills.
It's
with
just not my
main.
type of game, to be
Kills
honest
for the
with you.
chefs as well.
Ooh.
So far,
Oh, that
Seismic
was
has
in a
been the
grab.
one
I thought it was a
really
grab
setting
attempt.
the pace of this game. He's been just so very active.
Endo's
around
coming
the
in
map.
though. Endo's coming in though. Endo's coming in though.
Rotation, try to even things out. Looking for Dacia. Jumps forward, but the dash is good. Hits Zihi, but that's not the target you really wanted. So it's just going to be a back off.
That was a
from
little bit
Biggs.
weird, but
Not really in a position to do much here. Aggression should be finished.
Yeah, they really just don't want to let chefs get onto this Fang Tooth as.
yeah, I was gonna say, but he already used stun, so
Goes into the black hole in the middle of the jungle onto Biggs, who does go.
yeah, I'm like he already used his Q. It didn't. I'm not paying attention to timers, so
Definitely looking better.
that was a good play. Just a good like
Dacia
play
now
off
on
of
board as
knowing the
well.
enemy.
Third kill for the chefs. I mean, you said who is Zihi, support or jungle? But apparently it's just the duo lane in general that likes to leave that lane and get active in mid. Biggs has been the target of a lot of aggression so far. And it hasn't felt like there's been really an answer from Midnight Anthem to try to slow that down. Biggs has fallen 2 times now. What do they do to try to rein that in? So now we might have to hold that thought because there's another rotation happening. Mav coming over to this dual
Oh,
lane.
missed.
Flash doesn't quite connect. And
They are doing a
smartly
ton of
burns Blink
rotations.
to get out of danger.
But what's their
They're
farm
okay for
looking
now.
like? Ooh. Ooh. It's free. It's free. Nice.
Time in this lane, and that's the power of the Kwang. Really, really strong pick right now. But luckily,
Oh my
he's getting help
God!
from
He
Indo
got
Combo.
caught.
The jump up down from Wumba. Does
Oh
secure
my
the win.
God!
Big Z with the ultimate himself. Secures
Wow, that
the
was a good
kill.
play. Perfect
Hey,
timing.
man, he said, all right, you guys want to put some damage into me? I'll put some damage back into you. Drops the ult, finds the kill. I think that's worth it, right? Getting a kill onto Biggs, who's been this target, should be very valuable. It gives them some kind of...
Spartan, that's good to hear.
Now with that rotation, maybe just what you were talking about. Mini Prime
All
being
my
looked at by
homies are
Midnight
moving out of the
Anthem.
state,
The Fangtooth being looked
so I don't
at by
see
the
him
chefs
at
as
all.
well. Seismic around the Mini Prime is going to push Indo away, which means there is no trade here. It's just a 1-for-0 side. Jumping forward, look to drop the black hole. Can the Chimera get back out? He
Oh,
can
man.
somehow
Oh,
survive
Colt
that
got it.
one. But Dacia all the way from the dual lane. Makes a
Do they have
guest
anyone to
appearance on the
cancel?
right side of the map and
They have
finishes
2
the
people to
job.
cancel
Now,
Gideon ult. That's
Mini
it.
Prime should go the way of the chefs.
Majesty coming with the
Really loved what they
VIP.
did there.
I got
They
you,
knew that
Majesty.
Mav could get the Fangtooth all by himself, and instead of helping on that objective, Zihi and Cole rotate all the way to the mini prime, and they make sure that the enemy Chimera cannot.
I need to
secure them.
remember
They
what
get
the
kill
command
as well,
is.
and now the buff is all but theirs.
Biggs trying to find a way in. Imdo and Wumba are coming around, but they
Boom,
don't have a
you are
way
now a
in.
VIP.
Look at all the damage coming out
I haven't played in
already.
January. I
Seismic
don't blame you.
puts the support down. Snakes wants to keep on running. But he's
I mean,
done
you
his
got-
job. He's bought all the space
Whoa.
they need. Whiplash, very close, but the cleanse is good. Keeps Indo complex from being
Boom, now
another
Majesty
jack
got the
mark on the
VIP
side.
command.
Chefs nonetheless. beginning to
Welcome,
take over
Majesty,
this game.
welcome.
We're only 10 minutes in.
And Cold's the one who gets the mini prime, so this tower is going to fall really quickly. Potentially even the duo lane.
Yeah,
tower
ton of
or the offlane
rotations.
tower, wherever he decides his next victim.
And
is gonna
tower
be.
isn't really
They're
getting
gonna be able to push
penalized
down
for
another
it.
tower.
I wish you could
expect
see the
another one
farm
to
better
come out.
too. I want to see what the farm
Mav,
is. 68,
keeping his duo lane
73.
alive. It's gonna be a reset from Kaldacia. Spend some of that gold they just made. Right now, I mean, it's hard to say what Midnight Anthem can do to kind of slow this down because every lane right now is struggling. They don't have a good place they can put their attention.
Nyx is low on mana,
And
taking
so
a
it
ton of
feels like
minions.
maybe they just have to try to force something in one of these lanes, right? Maybe overload one side of the map as the chefs are so keen on doing. Wumba might finally get one back. Is he gonna go ahead and die?
Oh my god!
Around, survived, and it's just one more casualty for the Midnight Anthem.
Big Z tried to get an ultimate onto the Kwang, try to secure the
Man,
kill
that was
in
tough.
trade, but Mav's in the jungle and Mav is killing him instead. Salami now on the run. He's getting slowed by Mav. but
Did he
the
not have
healing
Fire
might be
Blossom?
enough. Seismic in the area as well says Salami, you're going down. You're going into the meat grinder.
Man, the Midnight Anthem is really starting to look more like a eulogy at this point. 8-1, 11 and a half minutes in, and now the chefs take down another one of the towers. This is a clean
Cold was a
and
level
brutal
behind.
performance from the chefs so far. It's just a matter of keeping it up, and we've seen time and again, the chefs are not ones to let things slip as the game gets going. These guys are ones that once they find a lead, they know how to press that and keep up all the aggression they need. So Tedium, I have to wonder where the Midnight Anthem draws a line on this game. Where do they go to try to slow this roll down and keep themselves in the game?
Look, Midnight Anthem, they have a team composition that I think is really good in this team fighting stage. They've got a Narbash for healing, a walking fountain, if you will. Also, his ultimate, certainly a strong team fighting ultimate when he's able to use it effectively. They amazing team fight ultimate, but they, of course, need to make it to that team fighting stage, and that is what chefs are really inhibiting them from doing.
Yeah, it's really kind of looking grim for even reaching that point. I mean, the chefs have pretty much come out of the gates already in the team fight stage, right? We're 5 minutes in, and Z has said, you know what? I'm kind of done with this whole support business. Side laning? What's that? I'm going to go all the way to the mid lane, pick up a kill. And Coldacia sees that and says, you know what? Maybe the lane phase isn't all that important. Let's go to the mid lane too.
Jaeger got the message deleted.
This cascading effect now, where the chefs are up 7 kills over Midnight Anthem. And as aggressive as they have been, we have not seen a clean answer back from the Midnight Anthem so far.
Yeah, I think Midnight Anthem is going to be looking a little bit desperate. I think they're really going to want to make sure that they are active around the next objective, whether it be the mini prime, whether it be the Fangtooth. They can't keep giving these up to the chefs.
Can't keep giving them up, but
Bro, I'm about to fall asleep. Not because it's a boring game, but you got a soothing voice, man. I'm going to sleep.
And Anthem has been losing these team fights, right? That's undeniable. They have to find a way to find some kind of picks, but the way that the chefs play this game, they've got so much vision control. It's hard to catch one of them out. They play
They'll be
together so
cooking. They're
nicely.
cooking.
It
Hey,
feels
look,
like
Spartan
the
level
target
1.
They do have is sneaks. And Indo's gonna come in, look for the gank, but he is 3 levels down. Wumba is extraordinarily low. could fall very quickly. His Sneaks is turning some damage back around, but he's not able to get enough onto Wumba. And finally, Indo Complex puts him down, but now Seismic is in the area. Bro, Rock doesn't quite connect it onto the steel. Salami is still level 5.
Wow.
Rotating in against the level 10 Seismic. Luckily, not enough there to follow up on.
Wow.
He's gonna have to walk away.
That was a play.
Seismic gonna pressure this
That was
out.
an insane steel play.
Wumba is
Holy
a lot
moly.
braver than I will ever be. I really thought he was going down in that fight.
Same.
Going in at such low HP, I think he got out at like 10 HP. The Kwang deals a lot of damage and has a lot of control and gets shields. Like, I really thought that the Kwang was going to be able to take down Wumba, but well calculated by him. Good pick, and that's exactly what you said they needed.
Indo now looking to get aggressive onto Mav. Zihi pulls him away from his jungler. So now the attention turns onto Z himself. Skewer comes through. The shield is good, but is
Oh
it
my
good
god,
enough?
though. The pressure, the damage.
Damage here, and Koldesha comes in, clutches up, puts Salami down. 1-for-1 now as Wumba also makes the rotation. Zihi falls, no support in this fight.
Oh, Indo going way too heavy.
Very low already, and
Yeah,
he does not have enough
GG's.
to
GG's
stay.
on that fight.
What a black hole! What will the event horizon as their chances of winning this fight just disappear into the cold darkness of space?
They have to commit so much to kill the characters on Chefs. 2 lives on the Greystone, and he gets out on his second life at like 10 HP. Zihi barely makes it out, and then he does get killed in the end on the runaway. But they kill out the support, and they burn so much. It bought so much time for the rest of the team to rotate, and the black hole coming out was absolutely immaculate.
Stellar performance, if I might say so myself. Perfect
I
placement
wish I had
from
gotten
that
that.
ultimate.
The guy got the hell. He doing a good job.
Chefs
He's doing a good job.
Stadium, they
I love
are
listening to
so
Spooky cast,
patient
dude.
and
That man
well-organized.
cooked.
They
I
play
think he
together
cast for
so
Smite.
Cleanly. That fight could have been very bad for them. Indo had a good engage, and it was Zihi clutching up, finding that pole to get the jungler off of his own jungler and buy so much time. And like you said, the Midnight Anthem just cannot burn that much and not get anything out of it. End up taking, what was it, a 3-for-1, I think, by the end of things. Now 12-3 in favor of the Chefs. We're still not even 16 minutes into the game. Approaching the third Fang Tooth, approaching relatively soon or Prime. Before we get to that, there's still objectives to be taken as Mr. Cursor, it's a Greston. Sneaks, not able to secure that one, just buying time for this last mini Prime to be taken by his team.
And this mini Prime should secure them one of the tier 2s. I'm eyeing that mid lane, half health on that tower, but Mav looks like he's eyeing the right side. That's where Wumba is, and that's where a potential victim could be.
I actually like the TDM and the Spooky commentation. TDM got the nice voice to kind of discuss stuff, and then Spooky getting it hyped up is really good.
Finds that one. There's not a whole lot they can do to answer back. This is just pressure for the Chefs at this point. They've got the mini Prime. They've got everything they need to start taking these towers down. Wumba.
I'm gonna say, Ager, I saw you get banned. You got banned? Too busy talking about TDM's meat.
Also not gonna be able to rotate in. Some damage. Eventually he should just back out. This tower will fall.
We got you. We're partying
Two
here.
tier 2 towers. I only expected the mid to go down, but Wumba cannot defend all by
Oh
himself.
my lord, that was close. That was close.
That is just tragic. He was so close to finding the kill, to finding
Man,
the
and
shutdown.
he even had
Urge is
ultimate. He
good.
could have flashed earlier, maybe.
Koldesha alive and able to push, rather reset and rejoin his team.
Oh, you got 30 minutes?
Now have to group around his inhibitor, try to find a defense. Indo jumps in and pushes.
Oh,
Back
Simon
out, Mav.
getting
Not in
caught?
this fight anymore.
He's
Seismic.
fine.
He looked at by Wumba, but
Whoa!
forward and dropped the
Whoa! Cursor getting caught! Whoa! Is this the it? Is this the it?
You've overstepped and you've overstayed.
Is this the it?
Now a target. Indo wants to run him down. The rest of his team is coming, but look at this. Koldesha on the way back up. He's bringing the damage, but he gets knocked up. Sneaks damage out. Up and down from Steel. Does find the kill. Now he has to contend with
What's up, bro?
It's hitting hard. You can stun, but
Hey, I pay the follow bin. You had a phenomenal day.
this one has
Oh
been
my
an
lord.
aggression from the chefs. It's a 3-for-1, and the Midnight Anthem are singing their tune.
The Midnight Anthem team is looking pretty strong in that team fight stage. Yes,
Hey, what up,
Chefs
Bo?
have
Go, what's
proved a
cooking,
lot of
baby?
abilities, but they did still have that black hole. It didn't matter, though. A lot of the healing coming out of this Narbash, it's starting to become impactful. That Steel Ultimate, it's always going to be impactful. And this Chimera, he's got healing as well. This team fight is pretty strong coming out for Midnight Anthem, and it's exactly what we just saw.
Not you? What do you mean, not you?
Kalisha does have the anti-heal online. Tainted Rounds are in the building. But notably, Kalisha
wasn't in that fight, though.
there at the start of
Hey,
that
Marie's
fight,
Green
was
appeared
able
the
to
sub on YouTube.
apply
Thank
that
you.
anti-heal
Hope you're having a
for the
phenomenal
aggression.
day.
And really, it feels to me like Seismic just got a little too eager.
Oh, they're getting
there.
caught here?
Now, Vav also getting eager, jumping on in, takes a crap ton of damage. Indo burning away at Kodesha. Finds the first kill of this fight, but now has to contend with the Argus. The particle shredder shreds
The
the
ending!
Hellstorm, finally puts this Kira in the dirt. A 1-for-1 trade, but Midnight Anthem lost their jungler, and now keep it on going.
Oh, Seismic getting eaten alive!
To the top, finds the black hole.
Oh, he had a
and it's so much damage.
Does he have ult?
Limping away is Mr. Cursor, not even
He does have ult.
to get active.
Man,
in
he doesn't
that
know how low
fight.
they are. Oh,
Just
Sneaks is
stands
coming.
back and has to watch it all happen.
Look, Seismic has been doing insane things with these black holes. Yes, he kind of
4 losses,
too
Bogo.
hard
I'm
on
sorry
the
to
right-hand
hear,
side,
homie.
But every other black hole that I've seen this guy put out has been, as you said earlier, stellar. He has been a key to their team fights, and obviously Zihi with the pull and the skewer has helped that even more. The control that's coming out of the Chef's team is really, really strong, and they're not just controlling the enemy heroes, they're controlling the map and they're controlling these neutral objectives.
At least you're playing.
Said
Hey,
at the beginning,
you're having
they
fun,
want to get
hopefully.
1, they want to get 2, they want to get 3, they want to get 4, they want to get 5. They got 5 of the neutral objectives already, and it's not going to stop. I expect the Primal and your Prime to fall to them as well. Chefs are cooking.
Just past the 20-minute mark here, TDM. That means the Orb Prime is very much in consideration. And with this rotation, it's a no-brainer. You know where the chefs want to go. They are looking for it, but they know the Midnight Anthem likes to step forward. So they are on the hunt now. They're looking for any pick they can get here. But they're not going to catch anyone here. Wise enough to take a step back, maintain control over the map. Just get the vision down, get ready for this pull. Sneaks.
Hey, what up, Overpowered? No, thank you for the love earlier, by the way,
Here
man.
comes the rest of the
Hey,
chefs looking
Ego,
to cut
phenomenal
off.
job
Sure,
casting. I
Midnight
actually
Anthem cannot give
love,
Wumba any
what is it?
support.
The strong arm of the law! I love that. I love it. I love the hype you bring. Ooh. Bridgie coming by, though.
Wumba still limping around at the end of this fight. Chefs are still
He's getting caught up. Boom. He's donezo.
Might be a third one
Damn,
going
this
down
is
the
still
Jace.
a
Cannot find a
relatively.
way out. Mr. Cursor
Oh, Cursor. He's not gonna get. He's not getting out. He's not getting out. He's donezo.
What's up, bro?
Hey, I appreciate the follow, homie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are you Are you doing any more casting today? Do you know how many games are
At
left?
the end of things, it's only Indo still alive. This dive
I don't know if everyone.
just
If there's.
not working.
How can I check without
Yeah.
spoiling?
Chefs,
Probably on
protect the
here.
president has always been their play. They love to protect Cold. And in that fight, Cold had to burn everything to stay alive, and still Indo Complex blinked past everyone to dive him. You don't need to necessarily... Killing the president doesn't necessarily make you win the team fight, as we just saw. They burn a lot of stuff.
can't
for
see
Cold.
it
They
here.
made Cold burn a lot of stuff.
Kinda
but in
talk fast
trade,
and
their
fade out.
entire
Hey,
team
it's all
burns
Gucci.
away as everyone else on the Chefs collapses on the people that Indo Complex left behind.
You were right. Iggy is really lacking compared to other midlaners, and midlaners seem so weak compared to. It's not like he lacks per se. He does, but with how the current meta and like how games and stuff are played, Iggy's turrets. How often are you going to be able to zone people off like Iggy?
Directing these fights and keeping Midnight Anthem
His kit's
from actually
weird.
accomplishing
It's
anything on these
interesting.
dives. Sure, you can select your targets, but there's just so many targets, and they're just running you
Oh,
down.
damn, I missed
Well,
that.
Mr. Cursor cursing his fate. He just goes one
There's
down.
a lot of high level
Open up
players on
quite a
Chef
bit of
right
the map
now. I
for
mean,
Chef. So right back to Sword Prime. Start the shred. I don't see any way the Midnight Anthem can comfortably step up to this one.
Oh, not without Cursor. He's a lot of their damage. ADCs at this stage of the game are going to start dealing good damage, so they're going to have to give up on this Orb Prime. That's another objective, going to the side of Chefs.
And this is the
I feel like they
biggest
could
ones
push
they can
they could push
possibly
up
get
mid.
here. Or Prime around all
I think
five.
I'm
Still
surprised at how
only
many
left on the
times they've
bench.
traded though.
Cursor
Like
will be coming up about 5
if
seconds
Chef
here.
gets too
It
cocky,
gives
I
the
think
Chef
they can.
so
I
much
think
time to just step
Chef
forward
Chefs
and
has a
start
cocky
positioning
team.
for this siege.
They do
Now,
have a
Zihi
cocky
here
team. I
can
played
pull
with
people away from
and
that
against all of
inhibitor.
them, and they
What
do have a
does this
cocky
defense even
team.
look like?
So I would.
I don't know if the
You
Midnight
still
Anthem
can expect
step
the
forward.
throw. You still can.
No, they can't, but that steel wall
They're good
is
players,
really good
but
for them. They can, of course,
oh,
block out all the damage coming out of Cold.
Well, that's an ultimate down in Indo. Looking to try to get aggressive, but he's taking a shred ton of damage, being pushed back. Somehow Kuldacia does go down as Zihi tries to find the skewer, buy him team some time. And answers back.
Oh,
Indo
Big's no mana.
down on this one. The
Big's no
black
mana.
ball opens up
Oh,
once
we
again.
canceled the Gideon ulti.
But Salami so low. and
Mav is he gonna secure it?
deep. Hope got the inhibitor. And it's just a one.
Damn.
Only Big's left alive.
That was close. I think they overstayed, and I think oh,
One
we got
alive,
caught.
one alive. Seismic finishes it up, and that's the game.
I am just a little disappointed that I didn't get to stay the line I was cooking all game.
Sneaks
I was
killed
gonna say
self.
Chefs know how to handle Salami, but of course I didn't get the opportunity. They finished the match
Wow.
way too quickly. Chefs with the win in their group.
I mean, I would say that.
The
that
Durs,
was a
yeah,
good
Durs
time to
died
say
pretty
that.
quick.
They definitely do know
And
how
ult
to
is used an
handle
escape.
Salami
The ult
here.
needs some work.
Did
I
not
honestly would
have
say
much of an impact
prioritize the
whatsoever.
turrets
1 in
because
7
it would shake.
is your support.
Prioritizing
6
turrets would shake up the
on
meta
that
a lot.
frontliner, and you can't hardly blame them. There's so much pressure being put towards them, being pulled out, and they were
What did
just
Zihi
so
say
far
in
down.
chat? I got him deleted
Wasn't
by
really
moderator.
anything they could do. They did their best to keep their team alive, and it did lead to some fights, kind of going their way, or at least falling a little bit even, but there's only so much you can do with that deficit.
What the heck?
Only so much you can do against a team
I'm
that
so
not only
confused.
has such strong players, but has
That
such
is
strong
respectful
players who have played
suicide.
well for such a long time. They were a team that played
That
really well
sneaks.
in our last event. They've just constantly improved in each event, and they're looking like one of the new top teams, one of the new top contenders. Chefs are looking scary.
Chefs have consistently been incredible in these tournaments. They are not looking like they're slacking whatsoever. I, for one, am excited to see how they do going forward, but that's going to be all we see of them for today.
They need a buff.
More matches coming
I
up.
don't think necessarily it needs a buff. I
that's
think
gonna be it
I think
on
things
Spooky
just kind of
and
need to be reworked. I like to say that. I like to see people play the game. It feels like playing the game has been really
Thank
cut
you,
down
Spooky.
recently.
Thank you, Tedium. That was quite the match out of the Chefs, who become our 4th team to qualify for our main event. Grady, what went so well for them that game?
I mean, it all started with that 5-minute rotate from Zihi and Cold. Zihi getting that big hook onto the Argus into the first blood onto Seismic. Then Seismic running over to the off-lane tower. Big setup from Sneaks getting another kill, and then it kind of just snowballed out of control from there. Seismic was all over the map, applying pressure everywhere. Big ults in the jungle, really helping his team out. And I mean, that's the Chefs as a whole had just outstanding performance all over the map.
I think so too. They were everywhere. Tell me about these early roams and all of these different things that they did, Tang.
It still
They were
scales
everywhere
up
on
pretty
this map.
well, Bogo, but it's mainly like
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
better
don't
items.
give-
It's
give
specifically when you
Seismic the
need
Gideon,
tainted
bro.
and
At this
whatnot.
point, like,
I
he
think
just
you
lost
can
it
build
through,
up
and
a
he was
Zoro
just
core,
everywhere, honestly.
but it's just
It's also
like
comes
it's better to
off
get
the back of, like, a
situational
winning
items,
dual lane,
you
right?
know.
Like, with Cold and
And
Zihi winning out on that lane,
tainted tends
set
to
up
be the
draft
big
into the
situational
ramp
item.
as well, right? Like with the Richter playing into an arbage,
In-
it's a pretty
in
free
terms of
lane that
pubs.
allows them to leverage that into the mid lane, and then they unlock Gideon, and then the Gideon can just absolutely dominate the map. And then in the late game, like, actually in the early game still, right? Cold secures the first mini prime as well, and then Cold is the big win condition, and we see Indo use everything.
Big Josh,
to get rid
you
of
finishing
Cold,
your
but then
paper?
You still have a tanky seismic, a really ahead.
Thank you for the
seismic,
head
right? And
pat,
you have
Big
Sleets as
Josh.
well
Yeah, I
pumping out the
appreciate it.
damage. Then suddenly it's just the chefs in the pole position to win the game.
I think so too. And like I said before, that is our 4th team to qualify for our main event so far. We have got Professors, we've got Flow State, we've got the Chefs that we just saw cook up an excellent performance against Midnight Anthem, and we have Indecisive making it as well. We are about to get the last game from Group 2. We will see the conclusion between Flow State and Rogan for the final spot from Group 2. But before we do that,
4 hours to
we gotta
go,
take a
500
little
words
break. But
left.
before we
Keep
take a
cooking,
little
baby.
break, before we get to the next game, don't forget to type in exclamation point support into that. Donate to the PCC. Help us keeping Predecessor going and keeping the competition alive. We will see you in a couple of minutes.
Got 3 minutes. We got a bit of time. Who's next? Rogue and F8. That'll be an interesting one to watch, actually. How about what you donate? They made it enough. I mean, they put their time into it. It takes a lot of time to do stuff like that. So donation helps the prize pool, creating content, purchasing programs and whatnot.
In their place, namely the rear view mirror. Only a Tucson compares to a Tucson. Now get up to $12.50 retail bonus cash on a Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Man, granted, I'm pretty sure 99% of people would play PCC with no money cost to it. I think a lot of people do want to play competitive, Predecessor, but they just want to play competitive Predecessor. So I wouldn't. It's for the production quality, and the production quality compared to PCC 4, big. I mean, it's a big difference, and it is nice. It does take a lot of work to do this type of stuff, honestly. Hell, as a current content creator for Pred, it takes a lot of time to think of ideas and set them up. There's a lot of projects and stuff I've canceled. Like, oh, I want to make this. Man, it's too much work, or I don't have the things for this, and I just kind of drop it, right? uh
Welcome back in, everybody, from the break. We hope you enjoyed the music, the tunes, maybe some ads if Choice decided to run them for you. We have a big matchup coming next. The loser of this one's day is finished. Not only is their day finished, their tournament life in PCC 7 is finished as well. We're going to have Flow State taking on Rogan, and we're going to do just a brief overview of the matchups for who is in each of these lanes. We've got Peak taking on Bondred in the off lane. Simba's going to be up against Jax in the jungle. Bri versus the classic Wangle mid lane matchup. Jay, who's kind of been having a pretty mean tournament, taking on Haru, and then Grussy and Penguin in the support role. We're going to pull up a little bit of stats because we've seen a lot of Richter contention throughout this. We're going to take a look at how he has done so far. See him played in 49 games so far, and as we said, there was only 51 of them, so Richter highly contested here. 60% pick rate, 35% ban rate, and a 58% win rate. Grady, what makes Richter so strong?
I mean, Richter is the king of control, right? The king of displacement. You hit one hook, you're pulling someone completely out of position, and most of the time you're pulling them into the entirety of your team. You're locking them down with that skewer. So Riplash into skewer combo plus the silence. Most of the time you hit that, you're guaranteeing that at least one person's dead.
I think so too. He can just have such a huge impact, so strong from level 1 all of the way through level 18 and, 5 items as well, soon to P6. Thank you, Ometa. But I want to talk about just the state of this group 2 that we've been following. I feel like this had some juggernauts in it. 3 teams that everybody expected to make main event pretty much no matter what, with Rogan in, Flow State, and D-Lab in. Only one of those last 2 can make it, as D-Lab has already qualified. Flow State came into today as the team with the second most points and the second best spot from yesterday, now 1 game away from being eliminated from this tournament. Can you talk to me about Flow State a little bit, Grady, and tell me how they've gotten to this point and what they need to do in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. So Flow State, formerly known as Deja Vu in PCC 6, they recently roster swapped a couple of people. So they used to have Mercy as their jungle. Now they have Simba. They used to have BKB as their offlaner. Now they have Peak and Bri replacing Simba as the mid laner. So a little bit of a roster swap. They've still had a really strong showing. Yesterday in our Swiss stages, they played out of their 5 games. They only dropped 1 game to Professor. So 4-1 record yesterday. Absolutely amazing standout performance. Bri definitely in charge of the map in the early to mid stages of the game. I don't care what anyone says. That guy is everywhere. And if he's allowed to do what he wants to do, he's definitely he's putting a hurt on the other team. Simba.
My mouse corrector on my mouse during magic.
Frontlining junglers. The duo lane of Gwissy and Jay
Undead, you're inting, man.
usually lean more towards damage heavy style. You know, like they like their Kiras over there, the Twin Blasts, the Drongos, and then Gwissy playing the caster supports, a lot of Belica, a lot of Decker, sometimes mixing in a little bit of Richter, but Richter's been going more so towards
I was
Simba, and then Peak doing his best to
516
try to hold
views.
his
That's
own
pretty
versus
nice.
a lot of the strong offlaners, and he's been doing pretty well.
I think so too. And we talked a little bit earlier, but for our very first game about Team Roganen and how it is that, hey, if we're both single at 30, we're going to get married type of team put together. Tang, give us a little bit more details about this.
Yeah, it's a bit of an unholy creation between Rogue and Ronin. Ronin, one of the, like, if you don't know,
I did
one of
rage.
the longest standing teams in Europe.
That's
And Rogue,
unfortunate,
obviously,
Bulwark.
a known quantity.
You can't be
in
doing
NA,
that,
and now
though.
They just mixed. It's basically the bottom side from Rogue and the top side from Ronin. So we have Bondroot in that off lane together with Jax in the jungle. That's like the Ronin core.
I don't know if that
Both are
mic
known for
has
being pretty
LEDs to
aggressive,
make it
especially
red, or does
Jax.
it
Like, he just
naturally look
loves to
like
be in
that?
the enemy jungle. We've seen some target
HyperX
bans against
mic?
him as well. Like, he loves playing the Chimera, for example, just leverage that early game in order to get those leads and then just transition them into the late game. Then in the mid lane, we talked about the guy that Wangles the best. It's of course Wangle himself. Like, usually loves to play those control mages, but honestly plays everything. We saw him on the Morigesh today as well. Just overall, just really solid in the mid role. And then we have Haru and Penguin on that dual lane with Haru the ADC for Rogue, a long time sort of member. Usually,
Oh, I'd be angry when,
solo carry
if anything
lane, but
happens
he is
to my,
pretty
like,
solid
while
at
I'm
just
playing. I
smart,
get frustrated
at
as hell.
getting those sort of macro leads, and then
100%
Penguin, sort
I'd be
of
mad.
newer to the scene, does have the mechanical talent, but sometimes goes a bit too far in. Definitely Roganen has a lot to prove. Have lost against D-Lab, sadly today already. It did look a bit rough at times as well. Meanwhile, Flow State was actually a pretty close game that some could
Yeah,
argue
Pred's
they
numbers
should have
recently
won
have
as
been
well.
really good.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they both lost to my boys on D-Lab, and the winner of this is
Pred
in.
numbers
The
look really
loser
good.
is out, but our draft is
I,
ready for the most pressure.
I think it's better
game
than
so
most people
far
think.
in PCC 7. Who were we expecting to see this start with, Grady?
As far as bans,
I can't
go,
say
very
anything
strong
on that
bans
information,
I would
though.
like to see, probably Argus or
But
Richter.
I like to say
whichever
that
one
the
Flow
numbers
State
do
doesn't
look
want
good.
to play for. It does look like they really do like that Richter. So I'm really thinking we're probably gonna see an Argus ban, just so we can make sure that we get that Richter pick first without giving up the Argus. But it is a Kwong ban, so getting rid of the Kwong so that way neither Jax nor Bond can play it. So they can pick up their first pick
Yeah, the
safely
stream numbers
without
alone
giving
is
up
hella
something
good.
they
Stream
don't
has
wanna
been doing
play
pretty
against.
well. A lot of high level streamers and
No,
stuff coming
Roganen
in.
with the bans. We saw Bryce.
I think
Argus
who was it?
before,
The
so I
world
don't
champion
think
of
that they
Smite.
necessarily want to play into it.
He came in
It's
and
kind
he's
of
been
a
enjoying
masterclass
Pred,
performance against
and he's been
D-Lab.
having fun.
We saw it
After
before,
playing
but
Smite,
now
he
it
plays
is
a little
their
bit of
time
Pred, I
to
believe.
ban. I personally would definitely expect the Argus ban, but that
Let's
leaves
see.
a few other
Kwong
priority
ban.
picks open to be picked early, right? We're thinking about the Rampage, I'm thinking about the Belica, and also the Richter.
60 more items? I really, I don't know. I personally am not a fan of itemization. If I'm gonna be real with you, I like characters having their kits. Then you add builds on them to make your character better in certain situations. Do I need magic resist? I build magic resist. Do I need this? I don't like that. Oh, this single item makes the character stronger.
Argus being the ban from
Argus
Rogan, very
ban.
smart ban. We don't want to give that over to Flow State. And Belica as the first pick.
Yeah,
very nice
always
flex.
banning that Argus.
Bry and Gwissy both very strong.
Rampage is
Then we see
yep.
Rampage
Belica
being
is
picked up
huge
for
on
Jax.
Flow State.
Over
I think
on
Belica, you
very,
got
very
two really
strong
good mid
jungle pick
laners
right
that
now.
can
I know
mid
he's
laner
gonna
and
be
a
able to
support
apply
that
a
can
lot
do
of
really
pressure
good
on the
job on
map,
Belica.
and Jax is
So
very good at doing that.
that's really good. Good pick for Flow
think
State. They can
sort of what you just said, it just fits pretty well into this draft. Like we see Belica.
Who's their jungler on
One of
Rogue?
those picks that NA really loves. In EU, we
I
like
forgot
it
who
as
their
well, but
jungler
maybe
was.
not quite as much as NA does. But we are just in love with the Rampage. We love the Frog Monster in the jungle, throwing those rocks around. So Roganen just instantly goes for that pick. Now we also have.
it looks like 6 items is coming next batch.
Maybe the mid spool.
Looks like it. I mean, according to what the devs said and posted on their roadmap,
could be the
their
howitzer, or
roadmap.
we go for more of a bruiser sort of pick. But instead, we see the D-Lab Classic with the Drongo in the first rotation.
Very surprised to not see Richter in the top 3. Not a first pick from Flow State and not getting picked up from Rognin. We instead pick up the Drongo when that Ramp Rick combo is really strong.
But don't
Especially when
quote
you
me
have
on it though,
Rampage
Undead. It
playing
looks like
through
according to the
Rognin.
roadmap, and
We do
Omeda hasn't
see
done a good
that
job
Flow
following
State
the
does pick
roadmap.
up the
So
Xeris. We still have another spot. I know that Flow State really favors the control heavy comps, so I'm probably expecting to see either a Decker or a Richter. Hopefully we get to see one of those. That is definitely the Flow State style of play, and we're gonna see here in just a
Grim is
second.
magic power. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to see what we're gonna see
That would
with
be kind of
Grim.
insane as well, with the Richter being able to be flexed in the jungle together with a lot of hard CC and other rows is usually the recipe to disaster for the enemy team. But yeah, as you mentioned, Grassy, we see the Richter being locked in, so that could go in the jungle. It could still go in the support role. So with the Bellica, Saris, and Richter, all of those are flexes. Really hard to know where exactly they go. But a hero where we are pretty sure where it goes is the Howitzer, probably in Wangler's hand in the mid lane for Rognan. Now we swap over to the bans. So with 3 picks on each side, we have a ban for Ronan, we have a ban
Picked
for
up a
Flow
Howitzer.
State next.
Just like you said, Flow State very intelligent with their first 3 picks. 3 characters, we have no idea where any of these are going, right? Rick in the jungle, Rick in the offlane, Rick in the support role. Xeris also we've seen in support, jungle, and offlane. Bellica, of course, very strong flex, so very nice. We don't know where any of these characters are going to go. However, on the side of Rognin, all of these roles are locked in, right? Rampage, jungle, locked in. Drongo ADC, locked in. Howitzer, mid lane, locked in. These characters, we're not going to see them anywhere else. One thing that I would like to see, okay, the steel ban, very nice. Try to get rid of some extra frontline, extra beefiness that the Rognin could bring. Looks like a Gideon ban out from Rognin, so they really think that either Bellica is 100% going into support, or they just want to kind of kill that flex option, right? Like they want to disable different mid picks that they could use in order to flex that Bellica over. So very interesting to see there. I will say, picking that Howitzer after seeing Richter locked in is absolutely bold. Every mid laner knows that Howitzer and Richter is living in Howie's head rent-free. Big refrigerator, easy hooks. It's definitely going to be a scary time for Wango in the mid lane.
Definitely gonna be a scary time. The question is, can he boop better than the Richter can hook? We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, Gideon being banned away hopefully forces the Bellica in the mid lane. At least that's the thought process for Rognan, because that matchup is actually pretty Howie favored, with Howie just being able to outrange the Bellica in most circumstances. Now we see that Mural being locked in for Rognan, so a bit better dive options together with disengage for the Drongo and Howitzer. So maybe if a Richter connects with that reversal of fortune, you
Got a
can actually buy
Muriel
a
on
bit
Rogue.
more space. Flowset though answer with
Kira will
Kira.
shred through Muriel.
Yeah, a very interesting draft so far coming out of Rognan. Very little CC, and most of the CC that we have is a single target or very small radius, right? We have Howie Boop as our CC, we have Ramp Rock as our CC, but outside of that, we're really looking at some slows, some soft CC. Whereas over on the side of Flow State, like I mentioned previously, the name of the game is control, right? We have Xeris, we have Richter, we have Bellica, lots of zone control, lots of CC. Somebody gets hit by CC, they're going down 100%. Maybe the Muriel shields can save them. And that might be what
They're gonna take the mid lane Bellica.
But yeah, very, very interesting. We
Oof,
got
quick.
even more control on top of the control. So I have some more control for your control. We have Decker, Richter, Xeris, Bellica. That is an absolutely devious and scary team comp. We have you in the front to back. We have you in the
I feel
picks.
like a Grim's gonna be
Rognan
pretty basic.
Definitely have to be out on the lookout for all
Rev
the
and
CC.
Argus. Great water is down. Need to buy new filter.
With the ultimate, you can
Bo,
just
we're
lock
coming in with a lot of
in
stuff.
Cage, and actually 2 cages together with
Get a
that
soda, it's
ADC.
hot.
Yeah, a lot of
I
lockdown
got
on the
the
side of
sweet
Flow
water
State.
next to me, baby.
Ronan answers with a Greystone.
CC
so maybe
chain
a bit of
incoming.
dive
There's a
that
ton of
could
CC
go.
on their
Actually,
end.
at this point, with the Rampage being picked up, it is gonna go into Bondroot's hands in the offlane. Honestly, against the Saris, I'm personally not the biggest fan. I think Saris just walks over the Greystone, but maybe Bondroot can prove me wrong. yeah, with those two teams,
Flow State
I
team
honestly
is so
have to agree
cringe.
with Grazzi. I don't really see Ronin unless they get the
Very
leads
oppressive.
early, unless they can actually leverage that rampage.
Howitzer
to
can
get
Howitzer
those sort of
can
early
punish
kills.
Bellica
Don't really
though.
see
Q
a
poke is
way for them
further.
to win out
So
in those team fights towards
you
the
got
mid to late.
Howitzer poke is crazy. Rampage
Flow State's
ability
feeling
to
like
kind
that
of
exhibit meme, right?
Rampage
Hey,
has the
dog,
ability to
we
throw a
heard you
rock
like
from
control,
far
so we
away
put
and
some
start an
control in your
engage on
control
the
so you can
Bellica.
control while you
Bellica can get beat up.
control.
Be
We'll
warned,
see if Ronin can try to
Bellica
break
can
the rules
100%
and
get beat
get
up.
away from this. But to take us into the game, we've got Spooky Mars on the double duty 2 games in a row, but this time he's joined by Man of Class. Take it away, fellas.
All right, well that's cooking. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
I think Spooky has not realized that his mic is muted, but that's all good. Spooky, are you good?
I think I'm good. My apologies both for the muted mic and for taking away the dog cam. I know that was probably very popular in chat for a little while there, but we're here to bring some class to the action with Man of Class joining us on the cast here. Mano, and we've seen the drafts, we've seen these teams a few times already. Just walk me through what you're thinking here as you're looking over these drafts.
I mean, I think the desk put it really well. If Rogan does not manage to get an early lead, or at least, does not really get behind in the early game, then they have a shot, but it's going to be a tricky one to pull out. And honestly, when you look at a team that is running wow, look at the early invade already. When you look at the team that's going to go with the Muriel, you really want to build that power up as fast as you can, because Muriel only gets stronger when the game goes on. Like, we're looking at a fairly scaly composition and in one situation, but also at a composition that kind of needs to get some value in the early game. Yeah, they need to just not get behind. They just pretty much what it comes down to. If they can't get behind, it's going to be in trouble. Flow State, though, I mean, they've got so much to work with, both escape and lockdown. And what do you really have to work against that if you're Ronin? You've got one stun coming up from a rampage, and that's about it, right? Like, there's a little bit of silence with the Drongo. You got some protection from your Muriel, but they have a lot less of those larger tools to work with. But with that global presence of the Muriel, you could maybe look at more of a split push going on, which could be a very interesting thing to go for.
I'm favoring
if Flow
F8.
State keeps grouping
So
up.
Flow State right now.
Yeah, it really feels like that once these fights start, Rogan has a composition that's pretty much designed to just kind of stay in the fight and try to outlast the enemy. It'll be a question of how durable they can be against the lockdown that Flow State has built up. And already over in this right side of the map, some small trades happen. Bonju not taking the better end. Peak, who hits level 2 first, was close enough to not give too much of an advantage either way here. So if I'm looking at trying to get a lead in this game, right? If I'm Flow State, I'm looking across the map, where do you think I'm putting the first signifiers of aggression?
You'd have to look towards the mid lane and a dual lane. I don't think that solo lane is going to do anything until the Greystone hits level 6, and even then, you just don't have the damage to outlive against that Zarus at the moment. But Wango could very much do a little bit of mid laning here and get something going for them. Just hopefully they can get enough going, then at least it will be a little bit of a lead. And with the mid lane being ahead, they can also start rotating a little bit more, helping out in that solo lane.
Let's
and that
see
dual lane
what's
where
cooking.
necessary. So that might be where this game is won and lost for Rogue.
Well, I know something happened right there.
Laners
I wasn't
do
paying
like
attention. I
doing
was
the
talking
mid-lane
to
things.
someone.
Well, some small pathing heading
Ooh,
over towards
ooh,
this mid lane
ooh,
angle. Maybe
ooh,
in for some
big
company
fight,
here.
big fight,
He's
big
aggressing
fight.
onto Peak with Jax, but
Ooh.
Jax get pulled back by
Ooh.
Simba. Wangle immediately blinks
Oh.
out, but he's followed immediately by Peak, who secures the first blood. Jax now trying to return the favor.
Interesting
See
movement
if
by
he get the
Peak, but he
1-for-1.
can still cook.
But the rest of his team is on the way. Flow State.
Oh,
not
the
gonna
Simba
give this
play
one
is
up.
good.
A
Oh, yeah,
blink from
yeah.
Blink comes in,
Oh,
and
they cancel the
Simba
rock.
blocks Jax
Oh
down.
my god.
3.5 minutes into the game, Flow State starting off strong.
It's fun watching Flow State.
The
Simba
one
puts on a
sort of
show.
light
His
you can
team
get
is then
from this
put
is
on a
that you
show.
get
I
some
like
more
watching
farm
them.
going for your Greystone on the solo lane, but that
Oh,
must hurt.
he
That's
missed,
gotta hurt.
unfortunately.
Getting that double kill, not getting anything in return other than a little bit of pressure on the solo
Oh, this is a
lane.
kill. This is a kill.
Maru's on
Q?
fire.
Q?
Yeah, Haru
Kill!
gets out, but he gets followed immediately by Jay, who finds the kill, puts one more on the board. Penguin now under duress, just needs a little bit more.
Oh
damage.
man, I just saw the
Map
Belka.
that
Just
we
got
saw.
close enough.
It really
Wow.
come over the wall there. Bry made the rotation, just a little bit shy of connecting on that one.
That would have really been. I would say even 4 minutes in, that might have already have been the nail down the coffin if you also got that elimination from Bry. But with these rotations from Flow State, again, the main advantage you get from this, if you are Rognin or can get from this, is that they are aggressing on a part of the map. Another part of the map is therefore less occupied, aka you gotta get some map control out of that. And we could see a situation in which Rognin just manages to push objectives better in terms of the towers, and that the lanes open up a bit more as a result. That hasn't started happening just yet, but that is a potential conclusion of what Flow State has been doing.
Well, Rognin, for their part, send Wangle over to that right side, try to catch some more farm to make up the farm he lost after that death. Does come back, doesn't hang around too long. Still feels like Rognin are kind of in a catch-up state, right? Wangle's slightly.
So we got a
behind,
rotation on the
expecting
Gwassi. Wait for this. Wait for this. This is a big deal. This is a big one.
The
This is a big
Flow State
one.
has been setting.
Oh, the
Coming
dodge.
out from Gwassi doesn't quite connect.
Did he have
Plasma
vision?
ball there. Wangle should be alive for now. It's just across the board, aggression and rotation, and the pace is being set by Flow State right now. I mean, just look at the minimap. You can see over there Peak stepping forward, trying to get aggressive in the right side. Jax trying to find something over here in the jungle, but all he can do is de-ward and secure his own camps. I don't know, like, is it to the point where Rognin is starting to see this game slip away, or do they still have plenty of time and room to just slow things down, farm up, and be in an okay spot?
Their main glimmer of hope currently is that Bondrewd is not falling behind at all, which is something that can happen to Bondrewd at times, like as a player, but he hits the first level 6. Now he can properly fight against Peak because he's got that second life going, and Peak hasn't hit the ultimate yet, so he can do it pre-Colosseum. We'll have
Yeah, I'm going to say this is risky by Bondrew.
Uh-oh, Simba is here. Oh, he doesn't have any way to get into the ult. He gets silenced out.
Wow.
Bondrewd falls. It doesn't matter if you hit level 6 if you can't use the ability. That's just one more for Flow.
I was wondering that. I'm like, this guy is going to make a mistake right now.
Rotation in, looking for Bry, but the knockup comes through. Buys this battle got a little bit of time, trying to find a way back. Blink is good. Boulder doesn't hit.
Did that,
and Bry
did that missile hit?
One more day, one more game.
Once again, though, 2 lanes in which they hit the level 6 first. Might not matter if this dual lane gets blown up, though.
Oh,
so
man.
Much damage. Does
He missed the
not
basic.
secure the kill. Haru just barely alive by the end of things. The cage just kept the Muriel away from being able to do anything there. And this just looked like full control from Flow State.
It's a really rough matchup if you're essentially blocked from doing anything you want to do. Both those steel walls, but as well as the gates that our lovely Decker puts up. Jack's still able to de-ward though, able to keep that river nice and clean, nice vision up around the Fangtooth pit as well for Ronin. They're doing a lot of things right. They're just not finding the same eliminations that Flow State is finding.
Ooh, nice
As long as they're
knockup.
keeping up on their farm, it should be okay. Jax makes the rotation, comes on in, double jump up towards Peak. I don't know, he gets out of this one. Slow comes through from the Stoneforge Soul, back down, but Jax is the only one diving. Colosseum is not gonna do the job.
A little bit of
Jax
slow.
takes some shots, but walks back out of the tower, and finally Rognin on the board.
Oh, yeah, they saw the
And
rotation.
The sooner that we can see Peak
Very quick
rotate
thing.
to
Tooth
other
is
lanes,
good.
the sooner, like basically the sooner they get the tier 1 tower, the sooner it's going to be good for Rognin. But currently they are about to lose this first Fangtooth to Flow State, which is going to be a big boon towards their team. Simba just smacking away, finding that hunt and getting the Fangtooth down to the ground. Meantime, we do yeah, like I said, got the first kill on the board for Rognin. They finally showed that they can actually do some damage. But again, it has to be in that solo lane or in that mid lane that we're really looking. That duo lane, not really now able to do much other than just farm and sit back a little bit. But at least they haven't really lost too much in terms of the XP lead, or loss, rather. The only one that's really ahead is Decker for some reason, because, well, they've been everywhere.
So, I want to talk a little bit about the value of that first Fangtooth, right? Obviously, it's the first objective. It's a pace setter. We'll have to come back to it here as Peak, once again, under duress. Boulder
I think the
push him back. Does take the last
Rogue's
season, himself a little
duo
bit further away, but Jax
is
keeps
kind of
on
not
going
letting it
forward.
freeze
He's by
properly.
himself. His Bondru has already disengaged
Oh,
from this.
okay.
Now under the tower by yourself, you get the kill, but you trade out 1 for 1. Simba not able to do the damage. That kill credit does go to Peak. I don't know if that's entirely worthwhile.
I don't think that really does anything.
I mean, all the lane XP is still now going to Peak, which is really good because they get to just keep on farming, which is a really big deal. Like Bondrewd. Bondrewd on that Greystone doesn't have to fight as long as they don't, get forced into it. So they keep growing as a hero, which because of all the pressure on the Peak has not really been able to do as much of. There's been not a lot of rotations
I
from
want
the
to
Zarus.
see how.
There has been no eliminations from the
I want to see how the
Zarus,
mid lane is
and
fighting.
The way they play around that solo lane is why. Whether it will be enough for the late game and the mid game is of course still the question. But so far they're keeping the Zarus.
I've
as
noticed
contained
they
as you can
only
keep
kind of put
Zarus,
they only put the
people look at
camera
it that way.
on one
We
side,
do now see
right?
Jax rotating through his blue jungle.
They're only putting it on Rogue's team.
there at the moment. But both teams really want to start looking at this mini prime if they at all can.
Okay, now there we go.
And right now, Mini Prime feels like it's still more advantageous.
The camera's always this
favor
position,
there.
though, I think.
Sure, we've seen Pete go down a couple times there, but I'll say is still overall ahead, however slightly, in gold and XP at the control that Simba brings to these fights. I mean, yeah, you can go into the Behemoth, but is that really going to keep you alive through all the damage and all the CC that Flow State can throw out? You have to wonder if it would be more beneficial to maybe just split the map. Do you think Rognin give up that Mini Prime and just
Well,
say,
they're getting
okay,
a rotation
let's
to the
make a
left.
play
Haru
board
might be
like a
screwed
Fang
right now.
Tooth, just try to stall that Mini
they're in
Prime
trouble
until it's
here.
up.
Oh my
Haru and
lord!
Penguin stay too long.
He's going to go down very quickly. That pull puts him in the dirt. Jay just gets one more kill for Flow State.
I hate that garbage character.
Like they were putting pressure down correctly because they had
It kind of looked like it
Guasi
didn't
in
hit,
the
but it's
mini
all
prime
about
pit putting
server
a ward
side and all
down.
that
So
stuff.
Guasi wasn't there. So you have a 2v1 situation against that Kira, which is good to put pressure on. But unfortunately, the rotation from both the Richter and from Guasi on that Decker came in a little too quickly, and they weren't back enough in time. Did a bunch of pressure on the tower, so at least there's that. But still, a lot of solo XP for that Kira, which is putting a gap bigger between her and the Drongo of Jay.
2 boulders miss. Behemoth is used by Jax under this tower, and he's taking a lot of shots. He should be able to survive it. But,
Ooh.
he just pulled back in by Simba! And one more shot is all it
funny.
takes. He said, hey, buddy, you like this tower? Take one more.
Every time they think they have enough of an opportunity to get something on a lane because Simba is on the other side of the map or was just there, they instantly, or they just take too long to do it, and Simba still makes it to the other side of the map in time. They can go for that mini prime, take it essentially for free, and 7-3 is the kill.
He is
score.
wasting
It's
a
not
lot of
giant
time
gap. It's not something that,
I don't know.
is insurmountable.
It's kind of crazy
You
that
do
left
have
lane has
Flow State
basically
being
been
ahead.
solo
They
for a
took
long
both neutral
time. They
objectives,
weren't really able to
and
punish it.
the only thing they haven't really done is put a ton of pressure on these towers. They're still all online.
There you go. They got a
In
tower
fact,
at
it's
least.
going to be Rognin that finds the first tier 1.
Able to push that one down. Should give Rognin a little bit of room to breathe. It gives them a little bit more map control. They can rotate out a little bit more easily. It's not quite as good as that mid lane tier 1 going down. That's the one you really want to see fall. But it's a start. It gets them some gold in their pockets and keeps things alive. They haven't been getting any of these objectives. So at least seeing a tower, a structure on the map go down, that's a good sign for them. Question is, though, how much of a window do they really have here? We've seen a lot of aggression from Jax. Maybe some
I don't.
overcommitment.
Zarus is always gonna
now
stay.
coming up.
So like the
I
thing
gotta
about
think that's where they
Zarus,
should be
right?
playing for, right?
Assassin items are
I mean, both
relatively
teams obviously wanna go and
inexpensive
play for that,
to
but
be
first they
super
wanna try and
efficient,
get Bri out of the
and
way.
his
Jax
kit
missing the jump,
isn't
Bri
as
taking the flower to
aggressive
jump a
of
little
needing
further.
gold
Does Jax
like
have the
everyone
ability? Do
else.
they have the blink online, for example?
So it's like
I don't think they
I
really
don't
implement
understand
that.
that
This time they
priority.
go chase
Zarus,
TP,
all Zarus
but
has to
there
do
will
is
be
throw
other
ult
players,
and
everyone
throw a
who's
stun and then
congealing
throw
around
burst
this,
burst
mini
out
prime
damage,
pit.
right? Granted, he's not even going assassin. That's
Away
just
by
going
Bondru.
mutilator build.
Red
He's
Flash
going
doesn't
tankier.
quite connect. That's going to
Ooh.
keep Jax alive.
So that kind of puts like more value, like more D value onto him. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they're
He gets
going on
knocked
Zarus.
away before the skewer comes out. It doesn't matter because Jay stacks it up, pops the dust, puts one down. That opens up everything now for Flow State. Look at these towers. They can start looking at the Fang Tooth right after. Mini Prime still around him. This is an easy push.
Yeah, we do get the wise choice, at least, for Bondrew to say, I'm going to keep pushing this solo lane, keeping the pressure on there, get my own XP going. But without your jungler, you cannot really contest that Fangtooth. They took a little time to go there, so there might be an opportunity to jump back in as a 5 if you are Rognin. And they do have the Xerath missing on the side of Flow State. So there is an opportunity here, again, to push into the
Yeah,
split,
some reason.
potentially catch them as they're
Wait.
moving.
Why you go? Oh.
Steal that? No, he did not. Flow State got
No, he
it.
didn't.
I saw a boulder come through. I thought they got it. No luck.
I was really wondering what you were freaking out about, but yeah, no, he almost did it, but not quite. The number quickly went to 2 for Flow State, unfortunately. But they do get some opportunities to push forward at Rognin because they had to chase them out of that Fangtooth pit. Haro under pressure. The Coliseum comes down, blinks away though. Wangle's still in there, but so is Penguin and Bondrewd.
Bondrewd pushing forward, trying to force Peak out. Rain does not secure the kill. I'm gonna keep
Unfortunate.
for now. A lot expended from Rogue.
See, so right there, boom. Now he doesn't have a blink. That guy's ripperoni.
But I mean, that's like the bare minimum you're looking for in that fight. You're at least trying to get a kill there. Instead, you walk away, lose a tower. Fangtooth goes the way of Flow State. Everything is beginning to stack up here, Mano, and it's in favor of Flow State right now.
It's very explainable as well, right? Like before you saw Jax going down, Jax gets CC like 3 or 4 times, then they go to the
yeah, they lost
to
Muriel. Oh, it's a big deal.
All Rognin have is that rock. Even when
20
the
CS
rock
down.
hits, they still don't have the damage to follow up.
Their Howie
quickly
has
enough
more
to
farm
burst the hero
than
down.
Bry.
They need just one
Simba,
extra little
a lot
thing,
more farm up,
no matter
19
what it
farm
would
up,
be, but
and
one
then who's
extra
that
little
guy?
thing in order to actually get these eliminations. That's why this kill
That's their
score is the way it
offlaner.
is.
Their offlaner
That's
farming
why
relatively
Flow
well.
State is getting these eliminations because they can over CC because they don't have to worry about anti-counter
Ooh,
CC. They
close.
can just commit. It's fine.
And Bondrewd getting pushed out as well. And it's like you said, there's just not enough lockdown. They can do the damage, but they can't do the last bit. Angle falling as well to Jay. One more in favor of Flow State. And it's starting to feel like Rognin doesn't really know what they want to do to answer what Flow State has been putting down. It's been a lot of aggression, a lot
It
of
is kind of
rotation.
crazy, the objective
But I
control
think the biggest thing, man,
on
is that a lot of
Fang.
these kills
It's
have
been like a
picks.
solo
They've
in
been
left lane for a
finding
while.
someone push too far up or just by themselves.
What
overwhelming
level
them with
is
numbers
Drongo 9?
and just
Kira's
killing
level
them very
10.
quickly. We haven't seen really too many full-on fights. We saw one, I think, so far, and it didn't go Rognin's way, but at least looked a little bit better. I don't know, do they need to start fighting more as 5? They just need to rotate more
Oh,
members
that's
in?
big. Pete got that.
That's
Oh!
No, they got to save.
He had no mana.
Be a little bit more aggression. But
Oh
Bondrewd
my
right now,
God.
you can't keep this one going too much.
Oh!
Like forward might be too much. Does use the blink.
Man, that was
Keep
close.
himself alive. Wesley and Peak are willing to take a step back and watch that one go.
I needed to recharge that.
That was
mana,
close.
otherwise I might have kept going on Bondrewd's side to potentially get a little bit of a 1v1 peak over there.
That was
in the
close.
dual lane. But for now, they are just going to explore their jungles on the red side of the map.
It's a very interesting place. Lots of wildlife to experience, sights to see and enjoy. I've noticed it's not a very relaxing place. Everything seems to attack you in there, but apparently they can fight back, so they're all right with that. Bondrewd now making a rotation back into this lane.
What's gonna happen here?
Peak, but Kwesi is still here as well. Has to be careful. Might shift the attention. Cage comes down.
That was a
jump
weird
forward.
animation.
Like I said,
Whoa,
once
Wangle
again,
getting
there's
caught.
no
Wangle getting caught in the
Wangle
bridge!
gets pulled back in, skewered down.
That's kind of crazy that
And
Skewer
Flow
he
State
got hit
just
right there.
punish the aggression. and
I
show
hate
you
the
why to
elevation
pick for the
actually in this
CC.
game.
Oh, they had one lockdown. They didn't hit the rock. Gwasi just walks away because Decker is slippery, and now they can go for that mini prime. Don't have to worry about Wangle coming in. Still a lot of damage and just stuff they can do on the side of Ronin, but have to find an opening to get somebody going, to get a pick off, to get something. But they can't displace anybody. They can't. They can barely stun anybody. And all they can do is try and save someone from too many stuns through using the Muriel effectively. But Bondrewd just
Does he
running
have
for the
ult?
hills once again.
He does not have ult. Oh, that mistake!
Oh, They got blocked midair.
There's just nothing he can do on this one. He can try to run, but he cannot hide and peek. Coliseum just puts
This has been a really slow game.
to Flow State.
They're just playing for Prime right now. See, like see what happened. This is literally what the game is designed for, guys. It's literally objectives. Like it's Prime and Primal. Those are the only things you play for in this game. You're doing whatever you can to get those two objectives. Do whatever you can so it's easier for you to get those two objectives. That's simply that's it. That's literally what the game is.
They've got Jax alive this time.
Let's see what happens here.
Missing this Greystone. Behemoth is popped. Jax goes in, but he immediately has to go right back out. And that is
damn, they couldn't steal it
for the third time to Flow State.
Yeah, they really wanted to time it right so they could maybe throw the hunt on. That's why they rocked the Richter so they can get that jungle advantage. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Wengo gets hooked once again, gets just blown up right there. I mean, at this point, you gotta start wondering, is Wengo just out of position, or is it just that Flow State's everywhere where Wengo it could potentially be, and they're just there without him noticing? There's so many questions, right? Bondrew's gonna try and chase this down, but if you chase too far, you gotta run into the rest of Flow State. Don't go too far, Bondrew. Bondrew realizes that they shouldn't go too far.
There's quite a few questions, and so far, Flow State putting down all the Amsters. They're the ones certainly living up to their names. They've hit their Flow State, and they're looking to ride it all the way through. Jax coming in.
He has to go for the steal.
This Orb Prime jumping over, taking the blast. He
Oh!
He steals that one goes to Rogan. And they get their way back out. Bondrewin locked in the pit, jumps on over, but a straight into peaks, waiting spears. Looking to
Oh no, he got caught.
Puts one down, but a 1-for-0 trade, and taking the Orb Prime away. That's a win for the Ronin.
And look at that sneaky Drongo on the other side of the map. Took away a tier 2 tower, goes into the jungle, and has just taken the red buff away as well. They did their job. They're split pushing. I said it at the start. Split pushing might not be an awful idea. And if you don't lose too much in these pit fights, and if you take away or prime objectives without losing anybody but maybe your Greystone, then honestly, not a bad trade. In fact, that's a great trade here for Rognin. And this is one of those moments where they at least have stayed their execution, but might even have started an opportunity for a comeback.
Now, the question is, though, Mano, what do they do with this Orb Prime? What can they do? Because make no mistake, they're still quite far behind. There's still 3 Fang Teeth behind. There's still 2 Mini Primes behind. Kills, gold, XP, it's all favoring Flow State right now. I'm not convinced that this Orb Prime...
Yeah, the XP is kind of quite equal, actually. It's just Bondrewin that's a little behind, but everyone else is looking pretty good in terms of equalizing in levels. So it's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the Orb Prime will allow them to either try and team fight where if they really need to, but it also allows them to feel a little bit safer and also to deny mostly the push for Flow State, right? Like Flow State had a momentum going. You said it yourselves, like, oh, they got the Fangtooth, they got the Orb Prime, and then they can start pushing. Now they cannot start pushing because they don't have the Orb Prime. So that's the thing that Rognin mostly got out of that. But they can also now make sure that every single lane, if they keep like lane phasing for a little bit more, is going to be a bit safer for everybody and actually feel more equal in terms of every single statistic. So let's see what they actually do with it.
So they're grouping up in mid. They got a 3-2 going on right now.
At least these lanes aren't being pushed in as aggressively anymore, and they get to make their own space now.
Well, that's the real question, though, is can they afford to keep laning? If they have to start looking to group up with this Orb Prime and try to get some
the Richter moved
off this map.
So they did a full rotation, alright.
And that can be gold in the pocket.
Belka's left.
Still one in mid lane.
They can profit.
To look at as well. Rognin look like they're opting for the grouping here.
I think this is how we lost to them too. I think we were winning and we lost due to losing Prime.
A little bit more. If they
like with the same play.
They could still lose this left tower to Bry, though. I think Bry might just take this away before anyone can get there, unfortunately.
But they should have numbers advantage on the right side as a result of that, but not looking to pressure it. They know where Bry is. They're playing this one slow and safe. Jax maybe looking for a flank as the tier 2 goes down on the left
Let's
side.
see it.
Bonju
Let's see it.
Furthest forward.
Wangle
Into the
getting
stages
caught.
goes Wangle, and the Coliseum drops on the back end. Haru is a target, but Make It Rain drops fire from the skies. It puts Peak down. Now the Rogan want to aggress forward, find a rock, it connects onto Simba. Can they find another kill here? He's very low, but he's still somehow alive. Tick damage not going to be enough to...
They're going aggro and Prime is already taken.
Still have an opportunity to keep pushing. Angle is reset, back to base to defend that inhibitor. It means that the rest of Rognan are also pulling away. We're not going to see any more push.
Yeah, they also see the realization we need to get these lanes on the left and mid pushed out so we have a better placing around Fangtooth. And with them losing the tower just there, they do need to make sure that they reset that wave properly. Bri's gonna reset because Fangtooth is up, but that means they might have an opportunity to go for a 5-man Fangtooth start. And it's a Primal as well, but they got to be careful because that Primal Fangtooth, it could just as well be a teammate for your opposition if you're not clever with it.
Yeah, that Flow State, they definitely want to get in on this Primal, but they're gonna be wary because the last time they started with one of these objectives without proper vision, without proper control, it did get stolen away. So Jax, have to wonder if he's maybe a target for Flow State right now. Try to force him out before they start up this objective to really make sure they can secure it without being a 50-50 here. And indeed, Flow State take a step back. It seems we're just waiting for the right opportunity to get aggressive here. They're back in the pit. Rognan's still a ways away.
They want to they kind of are okay with Flow State starting the Primal Fangtooth as long as they don't finish it, right? Like, again, at that point, you're essentially saying, hey, Primal Fangtooth, attack the other team. We'll come in later and finish you off and them in the process as well. So that's why neither team is actually going into the pit first. They want to have an advantage of some kind, and currently neither team really has a definitive advantage.
So far, so smooth for Rognan. They're still 9 kills down on the scoreboard, but you wouldn't guess it from the way they're playing right now. They're playing confidently. They're stepping forward, and they know what their game plan is. Like you said, they want Flow State to start this up so they can get a small health advantage on that trade. Simba looking for any kind of pull here, but no one's willing to give it to him, and for good reason. You get pulled by him at any point here, probably losing a teammate. Rognan have to make sure they're stepping back, staying safe, and just allowing Flow State to start up that Fangtooth once again.
Oh no, Wangle. Wangle's so alone.
Ooh, what the?
Already half health. Coliseum comes down, but Make It Rain does not get him out. Bry just drops him down. That could be the advantage that Flow State was looking for. Bon Druid also not in a great spot, but able to take a step back, not get caught out here. One significant damage dealer down for Rognan. Flow State start up the Primal. Jax on the back end. Bon Druid looking for a way on in. Penguin and Haru also coming around. This could be a 4-on-5. Bon Druid goes into the ultimate, but he gets skewered. Somehow still alive.
Oh wait, they're kind of trading. Simba dying. There's no jungler. There's no jungler, Jax. There's no jungler. Oh, there it goes.
No ADC for Rognan. That's all their damage gone. And only Penguin left alive. I don't see any way Muriel steals this away.
I mean, they don't have the Richter. There's a small chance. We've seen it earlier today. We've seen it earlier this game from Jax as well. The Penguin's gonna get caught out before they get the
Oh
chance
my
to get
God.
up as well. Unfortunately, Flow State, they found the lone Wangle, and when Wangle was gone, one of the highest damage heroes on that side, there was so much more damage on the side of Flow State left that there was no way Rognan could actually win that fight. They started it off decently. They pulled out a lot of resources with nobody dying, but they only found.
Yeah, I want to make that. Hey, I don't blame them.
The Primal Fangtooth. That's 4 Fangtooths.
I would have wanted to
including,
do
of
the
course,
same.
Primal one, and now they can start roaming around the map again. We're gonna look towards the next objective, but they might not even need it to start trying to end this game. Jax with the Unbroken Will's the only one of the few anti-CC tools they have, but they just still don't have a lot of CC of their own.
Wangle stepping up by himself. There's no way for him to get into this Orb Prime. This one should once again go the way of.
That was a weird
I don't
bug.
see
I was
it
like, wait,
still
what the hell was
happen
Kira?
here.
Yeah, no
Simba
steal.
confirms.
It's probably GG off of this. This
Only
is very
walk
oppressive.
away. Make sure he stays alive. Be careful getting out. Make sure he doesn't get collapsed on, but there's enough space. Now, it comes down to defense, Mano. What does Rognin
really does.
look like on these defenses?
I mean, look, we've seen it before where I think Wango didn't quite try that around the Primal Factory. I think they just went a little 4-2-4 forward on that off lane and the dual lane they got collapsed on. But they've been really good at this sort of split pushy style, like keeping the split push alive even through all these positions. Because right now there is a push coming through with a double buff for Flow State. So Rognin, right now you can't really split push because as soon as you walk away, you don't even need to send more than one member after it. For Flow State, they'll probably eliminate you on their own. They'll be fine. Bondrute, though, already has to use the ultimate to stay alive, but will still fall. No, Spooky. This is not going to go well at all.
Right out of that inhibitor, right to his death. That's gotta break. The defense for Rognin, middle inhibitor, goes down. Right side inhibitor being looked at. Low State, I wouldn't be surprised they're looking at the core as well. They're destroying all 3 inhibitors on this single push. There's still 4 members alive for Rognin. They still have ultimates. They still have abilities available. It's just a matter of how they can use them here. Minions stepping forward to the core. Flow State want to wrap this one up quickly here. 5 strong. Impatient. Now the damage comes through. Now the push starts. Jax going in first, trying to buy some space. The Colosseum comes in on the back to force Haru out. But Peak has taken a lot of damage himself. Core still getting drained down as Jax goes down.
There.
I don't know if they
they're playing for KD right now.
Haru just bought Druid, and it's not enough. Rognin fall down, and Flow State continue to flow with the victories.
Oh, it's so unfortunate because you could see it happening from the get-go, right? We said it, they kind of need to be ahead because if they get behind, it's very hard for them to come back, and that's exactly what happened. Even a little split push shenanigan couldn't save them, and with the overwhelming odds against them, they couldn't get there. Rognin, unfortunately, done for PCC 7. They played a fair few games, though. I think they've played more games than they have in any previous PCC, which is great about the current format, but unfortunately, no more games for them. And it's going to mean that Flow State still survives.
Yeah, Rognin, while they do fall, it has marked a consistent improvement throughout their series so far. We love to see that. It does mean, like I said, Flow State gets to move on. Rognin is out. And with 3 Undying on the side of Flow State, both backliners throughout the entire game did not fall once. That is an impressive performance. I think everyone's heard enough from you and me here, Mano. Let's toss it back to the desk because we got one more set after this.
Yeah, one more
Let's
game.
Break it down.
Thank you, Spooky and Mano. One
more
more
game.
We do have indeed, but we have
see
to
one
talk about
second.
what
I'll
we
be right back
just
real quick.
saw from Flow State and Rognin. An interesting thing, and I know we had a lot of discussions while that game was going on between the 3 of us. Brady, what's your main takeaway?
I will say a lot of it came down to the draft, in my opinion, right? Like Rognin, Flow State both facing elimination, not moving on to main event, backs against your wall, and Rognin decide they want to cook a little bit. I see the vision, low CC, very, very heavy dive comp, but those are very, very difficult to execute, right? Whereas on the side of Flow State, we said the word a million times by now. We're beating a dead horse. Control, control, control. Very easy to execute comp. Not very, by no means is their comp difficult to execute. And we see that not just on paper, but in their gameplay as well. Simba all over the map. We saw this early Xeris rotate, early picks. The dive comp needed to be ahead, right? We need Rampage, we need Greystone. We need them to be big initiation threats, and they just were not that game.
Tang, you got anything to add to Grady's points about what we saw in it?
Yeah, honestly, after this one, I think they might need some glasses, because I can't really follow that vision too much as well. That was a bit rough, especially with Peak getting that early rotation. Honestly, after level 1 and 2, honestly, like as the Greystone, you are expected to be pushed in against the Saras, and then Peak just leverages that, goes mid lane, gets the kill on the Wangle, then they bait out Jax as well, get a double kill, then dual lane gets a 2v2 kill, and then suddenly everything's on fire. And then, as Grazi just said, right, like it's such an easy comp to execute. It's just stun, into gray screen, into it's just over, right? And then even with a good prime steal by Jax, it just doesn't matter, right? Because at that point, the map is just already burnt. Every like 3 Fang Chiefs down, like all the gold in the pockets of Flow State that honestly played really well around their comp. So definitely deserved winning this one.
Well deserved indeed. And we also want to say thank you to Roganin for participating. Unfortunately, we will not be seeing them in our main stage. We have one more team to find out who will be joining. We're going to get to that after this break. But before that, don't forget to support the PCC. Reach down there, push that follow button, push that subscribe button, go over to our YouTube, to our X, to our Instagram, to our TikTok. You'll find us all over the internet, anywhere there is predecessor content. We'll be right back.
A day in the life of your dog's mouth is not pretty. Luckily, they have you. And you have Dentalife. Chewy, tasty, and proven to reduce tartar buildup for a clean, healthy mouth. You and Dentalife to the rescue.
The power of a skin filler inspires hair repair. New Fructis hair filler system with vitamin CG fills hair with strength 7 layers deep. Reverses up to 1 year of damage in one use. New Fructis hair filler by Garnier.
We'll get a little bit of that final game. I got an avocado. Is someone spoiling? Who's spoiling?
Finally, everybody, it is time for the last game of the day. And we got a little bit of a dirty run back for you as Midnight Anthem and Press Tab competing again like we saw them in the second game that we showed. This time it's much more important. The loser of this, once again, PCC7 is done for them. Winner goes on to our main stage on April 20th. Teng, what happened in the second game? What can you tell us about what made the difference there?
Yeah, so it was Midnight Anthem winning that one, and it was mainly off the back of Wumba in that off lane. Like, he had a really mean Saras into the Quang of Rispro, and honestly just kind of ran away with it, getting an early kill and then just leveraging that to get those objectives. And then also it was on the jungle role as well, because we actually had a bit of a spicy draft with a Richter in the jungle, we just saw before as well, but this time it was against the Kai. And if you've ever played jungle, like if you are against the Kai that is ahead as the Richter, there's just no real way to get away. There's no real way to lock the Chimera down with that cleanse as well. So it certainly was a bit of a player difference at times as well. Obviously really well played to Midnight Anthem, but a bit of a draft gap was apparent there as well.
I think so too. So Grady, other than a draft improvement, what can Press Tab do to win this game and overcome the shortfallings that they had into?
I mean, just like Tang said, a big part of the game came down to Wumba, right? Wumba had the team on his back. He generated that lead. He was all over the map. So what they need to do this time is they need to make sure that either they put him down early or they have a good answer to these rotates. Whether that comes in the form of better communication, calling out the rotates, or just matching him on rotates, stopping him from rotating completely. Maybe we give Risbro a better matchup in lane, so he's able to keep Wumba occupied. But as long as we can make sure that that side of the map is good, then I think Press Tab might be able to bring this one home.
I think that they might be able to as well, and it would feel very good to get the turnaround, get them in the game that mattered. So far, we have revealed 5 of our teams that are in our main event. We've got Professors, we've got Indecisive, we've got D-Lab, we've got Flow State, we've got the Chefs. I think that's more than what I said. So let's find out who the next one is going to be and get into this draft.
Yeah, definitely. I think like one of the sort of draft things we've seen today was just a lot of Argus prior, especially in the ban phase. People don't really want to play against it. So I might expect that to be banned away again. Argus has not been in competitive play for too long. So first of all, players are not that confident playing into it. At the same time, if you think something is really strong, but you don't necessarily want to play, just might as well ban it away. That's what we've seen so many times today before.
Going off of what you said, Argus, absolutely powerful. We saw Bry completely destroying earlier. So if you know how to play the hero, very, very scary hero. So if we're not picking it, banning it is the safe option. So I would like to see Midnight Anthem continuing on with that theme. Either I want to see them ban it here as their first ban, or they're looking to pick it as their first pick. We have been seeing a lot of Richter prioritization as well. So, you know, maybe if we don't want the Argus, we ban the Argus, we pick up a Richter. Something along those lines. I know that P-Tab, Bad News Bears earlier piloting the Richter, so he definitely showed he's comfortable on the Richter. He's happy to pick it up. Midnight Anthem need to keep that under
So Wraith's not a competitive hero at this level. I think I haven't seen him.
No,
He's a carry, but I don't. You're right. We haven't seen him too much. He's a very strong carry right now. I wouldn't put him really in the mid lane because of just how much AD there is. And once you, of course, get the higher tier play, you get the counters too. It's just that you got to remember that Wraith is a very skill shot based, right? Like he's a big gamble. Right, but you use a Wraith, he's single target, skill shot based, his ultimate being the factor that makes him really strong, right? Being able to bring anyone you want into position and killing them. So it's like, it's tough to really like say, he is in the meta 100%, but the gamble is that he's very skill shot based.
We still have Decker, of course, on the
It's
board,
kind of
Argus
one
on the
thing
board.
where I know a lot of
So
people go
depending
like,
on
oh,
the
he's so
Press Tab ban
strong
here,
in like pubs and
we could be
whatnot.
seeing
But honestly, it's
a
very
spicy
deserving of
draft
it.
going
He
here.
should.
I
It's
would
kind
like
of
to see,
crazy that
once
Gideon,
again, I wanna
right?
see
Gideon gets an
Argus off
AoE
the
rock
table,
and RMB and
unless
does
Press
a
Tab
ton
is
of
confident
damage, right?
that
So it's like
Midnight Anthem
when you
does not have
compare
any
Gideon
strong
to
Argus players
Wraith
to
and like
pilot the
the
hero.
level of
In which
efficiency and
case,
you know what they
if you don't
provide,
respect the other
like in
team's
theory,
vision for
who's
Argus,
gonna provide
then
more?
don't ban
Wraith is
it.
is
But
a
you do see
solid
the
pub
respect
stomper.
ban for
Hey,
one
look
buck.
at that.
Very smart ban. If I'm press tab, Zer's ban is I'm happy with that. And then they pick up the Kwong as well. We don't know where this Kwong
Wow,
is
where's the
going.
Argus at?
This Kwong could be going to
Where's the
Warpath or to
Argus
Indo
at?
Complex. So very interested to see where that goes. From P tab here though, I would probably like to see a Richter Bell. I mean, it's very standard prioritization picks, but very, very strong. And then you give yourself some nice flex options going in your 2 and 3 picks.
Yeah, I actually think that the Argus Bellica would be almost a better choice as well, because then you have the counter pick to Argus together with the Bellica herself, and then you just have an insane mid support duo that you can
Who we
flex
going
any
for,
way
guys?
you
Who we
want
going
around.
for?
But obviously the
Who we
Richter we've
going
seen
for? Honestly, I'm
do
going
some
P-Tab.
decent work in the previous game as well. But honestly, just
I'm going for
just
P-Tab.
going
I'm
back
throwing
to the
3K
game
in a
we've watched
P-Tab.
just now, I think just a lot of stuns is usually the way you want to go for. But instead, we see the Argus being picked up and the Chimera picking that away from Indo Complex as well.
So we did see Indo Complex in, I believe, 2 games so far today, right? Chimera on both games, so he's very comfortable on the Chimera. Taking it away from him is good. We do leave the Richter open, but Chimera does absolutely fantastic into Richter. Argus the same. You know, you can't really walk into Argus very easily. Very easy to punish that Richter. Same thing with the Chimera. Chimera doesn't really care about your hook, man. You hit him with the hook, he's just going to cleanse it. You hit him with the skewer, he's going to cleanse it. So, and he's probably going to walk you down as well. So Midnight Anthem does still have some strong picks on the board. Richter, regardless of the Kai and the Argus being picked, still very strong pick. Oh, you're always happy to have Richter in your comp, especially if you want to put it into the support. And then we still have Bellica on the table as well. We have Decker, Gideon, lots of very strong picks, Drongo even. So I want to see some very strong picks coming up. We got Steel and Greystone. I don't know if I actually agree with those 2 picks. I'm going to be completely honest. We already have Kwong, Steel, Greystone. We're already showing our hand, right? We're looking at where everything's going. Steel probably in the support again.
I'm surprised to not see a carry pick. I don't know.
In the jungle, and then a Kwong in the off lane. And then
I guess
I
they just got Drongo.
In my opinion, Press Tab doing a fantastic job in the draft right now. We have Drongo, we have Kai, we have Argus. Very, very strong core 3 in your draft.
Midnight still has a lot. I mean,
like the Richter and the Bellica still open, and you go
they have
for
a
the
lot,
Steel
but I think they're
Greystone.
very
That is
split.
a
Their
bit of a
damage
bummer
isn't
in
very
my mind.
bursty.
So now with the Steel being picked up,
They're very
like, that
damage
is
over
probably gonna
time.
be the support hero. Like I'm expecting the Richter to be banned now, and then they go for the Bellica pick instead. That's what I personally would like to see out of Press Tab. But generally, like the Greystone Steel being picked up when a lot of other priorities picks are still there for the taking. I think that might be a bit of a mistake as we see the bans being mixed up a tiny bit again. The Richter ban coming out for Midnight Anthem and then Press Tab. We are just waiting a tiny bit. Maybe they actually did skip their ban, but otherwise I am actually not expecting the Bellica ban anymore with the Richter ban coming through. But yeah, generally, like you want to target like
It's really
either
interesting
the mid lane
comp
or the
that they have
ADC
here.
role next for Press Tab, since pretty much all the other roles have been picked up for Midnight Anthem already anyways.
Not really sure what we can see coming out from Press Tab as their second ban. Definitely either going to be an AD ban or a mid ban. Gideon always a strong ban. Murdoch always a strong ban. Maybe even Twin Blast. I would like to see Press Tab pick up maybe a decent frontliner going into this, because we don't have very strong frontline, but we have a lot of damage. We have a lot of aggression. So honestly,
That's probably
they
the
might
only
be able to
thing.
get away without
Oh, they
going
picked
too
up
much
Gideon.
frontline. And they do lock in
How we
Gideon.
ban
Very, very
Gideon.
strong mid pick for Feppy. So we have a lot of aggression coming out of the mid jungle duo. And then we see Gadget Twin Blast being locked in for Midnight Anthem. So we do see we have a lot of meat, a lot of front line on the side of Midnight Anthem. Gadget and Twin Blast, both very strong scaling picks. So we will be able to make up for our lack of damage. However, like I did say, we're looking to scale, right? We don't really have a lot of early aggression out of any of the characters in the Midnight Anthem lineup. And
You got a
overall,
gadget
Press Tab
that
lineup,
pressures
aggression,
Gideon ulti,
aggression,
but
aggression. We
how's
wanna
that
be
how's
in
it
your
gonna
face.
work?
We're gonna be in your jungle. We want to fight you. Can you fight us back? And we're gonna have to see how Midnight Anthem can handle that.
Yeah, honestly, a bit of a disjointed draft by Midnight Anthem, with the gadget being there, but no real lockdown for her, right? Like maybe the Steel Ultimate, but can only keep them in place for such a short time. Bellica not being picked up when it is sort of a direct counter to the Argus is potentially a bit of an oversight as well. No, we see the Severock being picked up, like one of those tanky boys that you were hoping for, Gretty. So they definitely listen in to you. But yeah, all in all, a pretty decent dive comp with the Chimera being able to jump in, the Gideon following up with the Black Hole, the Argus being able to delete members from 3 screens away. Might be a bit hard for the Twin Blast to play this. Severock providing the tankiness as well.
Drafts are
This is a really
completed.
interesting team
We've
comp.
got the lineups
Guys,
for the
it still
last
could be
game
good.
of PCC groups, the last game of the day. I love doing this. I'm going to put both you on the spot.
I don't know.
Pick a
I
winner
don't.
right now,
I don't
Randy.
know how Gadget ult's gonna be into this.
If
To be
I have
honest
to
with
go
you.
based off of comp and comp alone, I'm going for press tab. They have my man Chimera. He's going to be in there swinging his axes. I know I'm a happy guy when I'm swinging my axes.
Tang, it's your turn.
Yeah, I mean the angry dwarf is gonna dwarf everything, so I'm definitely going for them as well. So yeah, press tab all the way, 100%.
We'll have to see who it is, but to take it into the last game of the day, we've got Falcon and we've got TJ. Take it away, Governess.
Governors? Really? Really? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to let that one slide. Welcome, everyone. It's been such a long day of predecessor action, but what a way to top it all off. We find out the final team to make it through to the main event. That comment just really threw me off there. Cheers, Lance, for that one. But hey, we're going to have fun. It's the DJ Falcon cast, and this is a very important game. They had the rematch earlier on in the broadcast. That one doesn't matter now. It's all about this upcoming match between Press Tab and Midnight Anthem.
Yep, it's down to just one game, the last spot available for the main event in 2 weeks' time. So, no pressure, guys. Good luck. And we'll see what happens. But I think, really, we have to talk about the Severock because, as far as I'm aware, at least on broadcast, it is the first pick of Severock this weekend. And, I mean, as a last pick, I don't particularly hate it. It is going to struggle in this lane, but it's need a tank. Severock can't really go wrong with it.
I remember we were talking behind the scenes, kind of thinking like, okay, you know, this press tab team really needs to get that solid front line down. I mean, the Chimera is not really the option for that front line. Sure, Bruiser, but you don't really have someone to face tank. It's like, okay, what are the tanks available? And then it's like, hang on, Midnight Anthem have just taken most of them, taken like the Steel, taken the Greystone. It's like, okay, what's left? It's like, wow, we actually guess Sev is like the only thing left here, so it'll be interesting to see. Kind of maybe forced onto that, onto the pick maybe in the end. But I mean, Severock, we've seen what the Severock can do so many times in competitive predecessors as well. That scaling, if you need a tank, the Severock can provide it. It might be a bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Grux is really the only other option available for press tab, and I am not too sure how comfortable Risbro is on that pick, but Severock is going to be available. I mean, in terms of the rest of the comp, though, Press Tabs is monstrous. You got the Argus already, you managed to get the Gideon, and it's going to be really hard for Midnight Anthem to actually walk into this comp. And the big question is the gadget, because there is very little lockdown for the side of Midnight Anthem to actually have this Tesla Dome be useful. So it's going to be really hard for Biggs to actually impact these team fights.
It's definitely something that we saw, especially from kind of shades of last game as well, where we saw in a match between Flow State and Rognin as well, with the Rognin squad not really having that kind of that hard CC outside of the Rampage. And if there's one thing that's become apparent with a competitive predecessor, it's just that, hey, CC and setup does win you games. And yeah, I'm definitely echoing the thoughts there on the gadget. I mean, we can see what the gadget can bring here. I'm thinking you still got that potential. Salami hitting a big shield slam with the Tesla Dome over the top. Wumbar can still hit one of them nasty tethers into surges. There are options here, but it does require a bit more to execute, perhaps, than just that single bit of CC.
Yeah, you haven't got the Colosseum at all. You haven't got a Decade, so it's going to be a struggle, and that's for sure. As we cut back to our lovely, lovely faces. as we have slight technical difficulties. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to really talk about considering it's about 20 seconds into the game, so we're not going to talk about that at all. And we go back to like, how do you think the players are dealing, considering this is their last chance to get into the final weekend?
It is a really interesting dynamic, must be said, between these teams. As you say, like, you're imagining the mental at the moment. I think the main thing here as well is that game that we saw on broadcast between the Midnight Anthem and Press Tab wasn't exactly the cleanest. There were definitely some pretty sketchy decisions at times, some kind of crazy plays. Azazvil's Decker kind of springs to mind, the shenanigans around that Prime Pit. So I think there's a lot that can definitely be taken away from that. But ultimately, this is a second chance, really, and especially for Press Tab as well, as they were the ones who lost that initial matchup. So for them, it's all about the mental reset. This is just another game, but there's a lot more on the line because, as we said before, one team, the team that wins here, makes it to main event in 2 weeks' time. The other team eliminated from the event. A lot of pressure on these teams as well. I don't think we can see another scrappy game like we did before, though.
I mean, you say that I expect a lot of scrap. I expected a lot of fighting. Though who that favors, I can't really say at this stage of the game. And I mean, yeah, Chimera as well as the Greystone in the jungle is going to cause early game action. I don't really know where that's going to happen. Most likely, I would imagine around the duo lane of anything, because the Drongo and Tremblas are both very good in the early game in terms of clear, as well as just the poke battles. So if either team wants to get ahead, that is a very good position to be in. Plus, it allows them to get to the early Fangtooths. And we have seen mostly in these games how impactful those are.
Of course, with that objective stacking, I think as well we've seen kind of a bit of a shift before, because I think in the last events we've had here in the competitive predecessor calendar, at
How
least with
long
the
can the
Nations
casters
League and
delay?
Fangtooth, is that neutral objectives like the Fangtooth and the Mini Prime aren't being taken really quickly. Like, it's not uncommon to see games go a little bit later on and seeing like Primal Fangtooths kind of pop up at like 30 minutes or something. But now in this game, we've had a complete in this tournament, we've had a complete 180 on that. A lot of rapid starts on neutral objectives. Teams much more happy to get that important pick and then immediately transition into neutral objectives.
Yeah, in either case though, we are having a bit more technical difficulties. So what we're going to do, we're going to send you to a quick break. You can have a nice quick music break, take a toilet, take a drink, whatever you need. We will be back in a few minutes with the last game of tonight, and we'll have to see what happens.
Take it. Well, during that wait time, I guess we'll get some Slytherin. What up, Psycho? Thank you for the head pat. We're watching the last game, and we'll get some Pred games in the late night stream after I eat my dinner. Right now, we're just vibing. Watch party. Although I can just call it and go take a shower. But I think I'm already too late on that. I should have killed that guy. Come here, pal. Let's see if I can kill him. Oh, got the kill. Ah, no! Damn, got a little aggressive. And we just couldn't win off of it. Oh! Oh! The fight. That's a fight. Now that's why I play this game here for. Oh, that guy had no chance. Oh, yeah, no chance at all. Oh, they're just losing. They're just taking all these L's. Oh my god, so many L's. I'm just giving them free L's. Oh no! Oh god. Okay, Captain America, you're donezo, pal. You're absolutely donezo. You're absolutely donezo. Yep. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Yeah, we're taking you too. We see you. We see you were easily running to get me fed. Bro is fed. They are inting their cheeks off. That is for sure. They are inting their cheeks off. Alright. He knows a tactic. He knows a tactic. He knows a tactic. Okay, thank you for your donation, pal. I appreciate it. Give me the free money. I wonder what the biggest slither snake has ever been. That's what I wonder. I'm gonna prioritize just getting big though. Oh, give me that donation. Fuck you, you dumb bitch. We just gotta eat our own poop. Oh god, he almost got me. He almost got me. Okay, JJ, I see you, pal. Oh, JJ, I see you, pal. I see you, pal. Yep, we're gonna take care of you, pal. Don't you worry. Thanks for the donation.
Initiate hug mode. Would you like to stop hug mode? You have selected no. Hug mode.
Oh, that kind of almost got me killed.
Remain calm.
We're big, we're slow right now. We're big. We gotta take what's given though. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
We sure are excited for Grim.
Wanna
We're
eat
really
that
excited
up?
to get back into a PCC game as well and show that to you. We've got a little bit of behind the scenes.
We're
things
slow. We
fixed,
can't
getting turned
turn.
on.
We gotta
Ometa's
manipulate
pushing
the
those
movement
buttons
here.
forward. Shout out Ometa, we love you. But we wanted to just take this time. We might as well
What
reveal
the?
we've got the other 7 teams that have made it. So I'm going to give a brief rundown of it, and then I'm going to ask Grady and Tang, honestly, just some opinion questions. So our teams that have qualified so far is Professors, Flow State, Chefs, What If, Dirty Lake, and The Boys.
Oh, give me that.
Hive, Indecisive, and then the winner of either Midnight Anthem or Press Tab, as we are seeing right now. I feel like those 7 teams more or less are what we expected. I know What If is a new roster to us. They've got our guys Pinzo and Crashy on it. Do you think that team's got a good chance of making it deep into the tournament, Grady?
Well,
Sorry,
to be honest,
Cutie, you're getting absolutely
Crashy
obliterated.
hasn't
Thank
been
you.
playing in competitive for a few PCCs, so he's got some catching up to do, but they have plenty of time. Pinzo going back to the support role. He was
Oh
playing
my god,
offlane,
it's hectic
so
in here.
they're going to
There's so
have
much
to
people.
definitely
people.
make up for time lost, so they need to put a lot of time in the lab now that they've qualified. If they put in the practice, I can maybe see them doing it, but it all comes down to
They got a
do
lot
they
of
have the
people.
time and will they commit the
They
time?
got a lot
to
of people.
practicing.
You love your
I
country,
think so
man.
too. And then Tang, of course, I'm going to ask you about our EU participant. This indecisive
Hey,
team, we
that's
followed
nice to
them a
hear,
lot yesterday.
Bulwark.
They looked pretty dominant in a lot of their matches. They even kind of stomped D-Lab in the first game that we had shown. Although it was Loberless, we got to remember.
No! No!
A PCC crown.
How did I
Honestly,
miss
as
that?
great as they are at the moment, they look
How?
pretty darn strong. with
I
Morose and
clearly
Nancy
had
being
the
added to
gap.
Pretty much the EWT.
Ah,
roster
man,
that's
I was
left.
so hungry for that.
It's pretty scary team, honestly. Like all 5 members of them are like in
Alright.
EU, like you could make the argument the best
Upset.
in their roster. Now they're just trying
Upset
to
about
do
that.
their best, proving that
We were
on
huge,
and
Magus,
as
we were
well, getting
huge.
first in their group so far as well.
We also want to mention at this point we don't have the quarterfinal matchups for who's going to be playing who because we need the results of Press Tab versus Midnight Anthem in order to get these. But do you have any sort of like dream quarterfinal matchup you'd like to see? Obviously, we want to see some of the better teams play each other closer to the semifinals
Oh,
and finals to
gentlemen
make
in
them a
class.
little bit better. But of these
Upset.
7 teams we've seen so far, are there any that you're like really excited to play each other, Grady?
To be honest, I haven't really put a whole lot of thought in it. I would like to see Dirty Lake and the boys and Flow State run it back. I know that Flow
I still
State
got the
definitely
audio. We're gonna
want to see their salty.
we'll
run
go back to
back,
Slither. We'll go back to
because
Slither.
They have been
Alright.
having some
Y'all
trouble
got
against
the
Dirty Lake and
audio.
the boys recently. Also, I would like to see. Let me see. Probably the Hive versus What If. I think that could be a very interesting matchup. So probably one of those two.
I think it could be as
Dude,
well, and as much as we'd
oh,
love to
big
hear
guy
the
killed.
words come
Big
out of
guy
Tang's
killed.
mouth again, we'd much rather get back
Big
to
guy
our
killed.
casters. We'd much rather get
Enemy
back
down.
onto
He
the
just
map
walked
and into the
into it.
final game. So we're going to toss it over. Take it away, chaps.
We got a free W off that.
Thank you so much, lads.
Oh.
Once again, welcome back to the Battleground for Midnight Anthem.
Oh, we got the W.
TJ here on the mic alongside Falcon.
Oh, we're gonna get the W. Oh, we got the W. We're feasting.
Jumping in about 2 minutes as well, so we don't even
Oh
get
my
that.
God,
So a little bit of
dude.
preamble.
We're
Obviously,
back to where we were,
Blitz being
basically.
burnt
We're
inside
basically
of the
back to where
solo
we
lane.
were.
Wumbar's in a lot of trouble here. Badu's Bears.
Oh, there's a
Ambush
fight.
trying to get the
Oh,
damage
God.
down, and Ambush comes
All right,
through
I'm
for
gonna
the
give
Bears
it to this
underneath
guy.
the
Here,
J2
buddy.
tower.
You can
Badu's
have it.
got the kill, and he's able to get away without the tower dropping.
right.
But Indo Complex is here, able to avenge his fallen member.
Let's see
but
what's
first
cooking.
blood
What
being
up,
taken.
Abbott?
What a
Got
start.
some water. Got some water. Thank you for the water.
I mean, we had about 5 seconds before action happened, so that's good. So we can see what the action is going to be in that off lane. Whispo is going to get the farm.
2
up as well,
kills
so
in
he's gonna be
under
able to
3
push at
minutes.
least one bar
Phenomenal.
under the tower.
Love it.
Now, and I mean, overall, it's a 1-for-1. Yes, you get to the first blood.
Happy Sunday,
on the
Abbott.
side of Midnight Anthem. Which
If only
is
we
gonna
had
be
Monday
great
off,
for,
right?
Wimber, but overall, Whispo, all he wants to do is keep on farming. You can see in this other side as well the power of the Argus and how strong.
I'm curious to see how are we
Solana
gonna
can't
see
really do anything as Steel.
how are we
until
gonna
that
see
level
the
6
Steel?
where he does get his ultimate on, so it is going to be a bit painful for the side of Midnight Anthem until that occurs.
Gold buff is going to be secured for the side of the Press Tab squad, at least, as they're going to go for a quick reset. As we kind of go back
Because of
to
the Eclipse
a little bit
habit,
of
you're
normality,
lucky. I wish
take
I
a
had that.
breather and actually kind of talk a little bit more as we've as they recovered from action over in the right-hand side. Now, what's going to comment though, Falcon, as well, is that we have been seeing a
Whoa,
lot of
why am
this
I getting
tournament
caught
with
out?
Rizbo. I swear, I just want to talk about this point, but you're going to nearly kill Wumbar in a solo bolo on the solo side. Teams are putting a lot of
Oh, no,
attention
he lost
in
that
towards the
farm.
right-hand side of the map. Dualane has been left very much alone in a lot of these games so far, Falcon. Do you think we're going to see the same here again?
We already have, honestly, and I think.
I see, Abbott. So like they gave you the thing. That's kind of nice though. Are you gonna go look at it?
Is not going to be able to stack up.
Are you gonna go
souls.
take
He's gonna
a
have
gander
to
outside?
reduce damage and makes
Ours is really. I already saw the clips back in college, like the simple eclipse, you know. And I mean, it's kind of interesting to see that, you know, how the solar system is, right? It kind of feels unreal, but that's it. There's nothing crazy after that. Once you see, like, oh wow, yeah, there definitely is a moon up there.
In favor, at least early on, and recently we haven't really seen it being taken, maybe only once in the first 20 minutes, but now we have consistently seen it and taken twice, which is as many times as you can take it. As we get Indo Complex over, he's just going to hunt.
To see the animals freak out, that'd be pretty interesting. I'm curious. Do you have like a pet? I'm curious to see how the pets are. But remember, Abbott, we're like borderline animals. So look at us all freaking out, spending money on glasses.
With the pressure coming in from Risbro as well.
So getting a little bit of an invade there.
Just press tab, making sure that Midnight Anthem are aware.
There's 3 people right. Whoa, 3 people right. What are they gonna do right?
Mid lane as well. In the complex being bullied out of this side of the jungle, and this just opens the door for an invade to go.
As we've seen plenty of times before, Gideon has normally got that wave push. He can get that first rotation off in that early game. Diggs is stuck in that mid lane. He's going to push the wave in now, can make his own rotation if he wants it.
Yeah, we are. They have cats. The cats will be funny to watch. What the hell?
Outside of press tab, there's not much else really happening. As I say though,
Oh, Bear's getting eaten alive, bro. Was that invade worth it? Was that invade worth it? I feel like Chimera invades are the most riskiest, right? Because he doesn't really have an escape.
Like Bad News Bear just overstuck and overstayed his welcome on that right-hand side.
Yeah, he didn't have any sort of pressure from his mid lane. Feppy had to reset his wave. Risbo had just reset himself. So there was no support for the actual invader, because that is what you need. It does look like Midnight Anthem are looking around that Fangtooth, but with the respawn timers being this short early on, it is going to not really be an ideal situation. Instead, we're just going to see Argus continue to do Argus things, and the main difference in this support role compared to the mid we've seen earlier is that he is going to be maxing his primary ability, which is the Dread Nova compared to the Particle Shredder. This means that he has more damage on his stun and a longer stun duration.
We have seen as well that, let's say that's Argus going in towards the mid lane, but we have seen teams sort of find an answer to it. We've seen players piloting this Argus being on the losing team. Do you think that Midnight Anthem have the tools available to them to shut down this Argus?
It's hard to really say until we get to it. Steel is going to be a pretty good counter, just using that ultimate to completely shut down Argus. You can't really escape.
There's not much going on the map. So we're at 7 minutes. Let's see if we're going to see a Fangtooth soon. Can you take it?
Well. But then again, you don't really want to be using the dive.
Oh, Feppy chasing.
You've got Feppy as well as Eps, who are going to be doing the majority of the damage in this team comp.
You can't
that
escape.
Is really where you need to focus your damage.
He has got to be careful here, though. He did use the taunt space to go aggressive onto Big Z, but one bar makes rotation. Tever going to land with the surge drop as well. He still has the black hole, still has the taunt
nice, very nice play. Oh, man.
Of the heavens, but Feppy has got his blink available, able to get to safety, but this opens the door as Press Tab going to start up the Fangtooth, but it will cost Feppy's life.
Well, he did get it. Wait, they got it?
Even here,
when they get the kill?
Dual lane getting involved, Fangtooth
okay.
will go the way of the Press Tab squad, but they need to get away.
8-minute thing.
Get back into their jungle.
It's hard to really say. One death for a Fangtooth is not a bad trade at the end of the day for Press Tab. It also allows Risbo to get complete solo farm for a pretty long duration at this stage. He gets Sign Buff as well and has pushed multiple waves under the tower. So overall, I definitely think Press Tab is happy with that trade. It is unfortunate for Feppy. He did look like he got hit by that sticky mine as he managed to run away. It was only on HP beforehand anyway. And now it is definitely going to be focusing around that mini fight because there's no Fangtooth online. You've got Eps and Azizel who have got that level 6, so are very, very dangerous to gank and pretty safe as well. And Rimbar is still ahead. He has got that 2 assists. He has got that level 7, nearly got the 5 blossom online. So I think Midnight Anthem definitely want to be looking in this general area.
Does he have tools? And I like that One Bar is more than happy to rotate out of this lane as well, especially with the information being given, the call made that Feppy is in this jungle. He's not got his torn space. I'm wondering as well if the squad of Midnight Anthem want to leverage a little bit of the pressure coming out now from One Bar and also from the mid lane as well, Big Z, on that gadget to maybe move in towards that midi prime and look towards rotating from that neutral objective straight over towards the left-hand side in the upcoming second Fang 2. A couple of minutes away, I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but a rotation coming out here from Azazville. And One Bar is quite pushed up as well. If Chris is going to come down, get the slow, has at least got the blast flower, gets a lot of distance.
Big Josh, did you do your stuff yet?
But it might be a bit of a collapse. This mid lane on towards Feppy, got to be careful, but thankfully he's a Gideon. He has a little bit of that mobility to escape.
I'm not entirely sure about rotation because that leaves X to fend for himself in that 2v1. It does look like Salami did continue with the rotation as well, so both ADCs are just going to be in that dual lane 1v1 against each other, which is a good situation for both of them to be. It allows them to easily farm up. And as we see already, multiple members are around that mini prime, and it does look like Press Tab are going to be the one to start it. Because Rumba had to reset, he's only just got back to the red buff, and Indo Complex is nowhere to be really found. So I think this is going to be an easy pickup. It's going to be a question of who they give it over to. Most likely Bears, just to make sure they can secure it, though.
Yeah, Hunt is going to come through, and it is going to be secured on towards Bears.
P-Tab is very dominant right now
Around his character, but with that group
in terms of objective
maybe
control.
A collapse or
I
a bit
still
of a
think.
contest to come out from Midnight Anthem.
I still think overall
Still
too.
members still sticking around inside of that mid lane.
I'm not too worried about the
Really
kills. I want to see general gold to be super nice to have, to see what the total team's gold is.
Early in this game, these side lanes are not islands. It seems that they have got downloaded that DLC for the rest of the map and wanting to be as involved as they can.
I don't think the carries have, because they've been stuck in there completely, which is fair enough. Same with Rispo, who has decided to take up camping in that solo lane. But now with both main objectives being taken quite early on, we're going to just probably see a bit of farming, maybe some 1v1s in the mid lane or the off lane. And the rest of the focus is going to be on this dual lane, because both dual lanes have got that level 6. And BM Bears have got that mini five. And honestly, if Decom want to impact any lane, I think if you get this Drongo archers ahead, it is going to be beneficial.
Go for the move anyway. The ambush on towards Salami. To hit the damage. If Crystal comes out, buys a lot of time for some damage to come through, and Salami.
I'll do that. Card sign later off stream. Do not dox anyone.
We have a moment or a window here for Press Tab to have the advantage in this dual lane in the upcoming few moments.
Yeah, Shield Slam is a big cooldown to use just to escape. It doesn't give you that much movement either way. And now because that is down, that means Press Tab's dual lane have complete control, because that is your big engage to try and deal with this Drongo Argus. And you can see the Bears also pushing the way.
300 words in 2.5 hours. Let's get it, baby.
The Steel Wall is going to delay this for a bit, but overall, this is going to be the first tower.
Yeah, ton of gold control right now.
Over, but that's not really going to be any use because they have already backed off. And it's a good stuff. Press Tab, Midnight Anthem may have the kill lead. But in terms of the macro, Press Tab are definitely ahead.
Would have secured that first Fang Tooth, got that first mini prime. Now first brick going to be secured for themselves as well. Definitely a different style of game as well, and Midnight Anthem more than happy to group up to try and contest, to try and fight and look for these picks here. But as you say, Press Tab just playing a slightly different game here than we saw perhaps in their earlier matchup against the Midnight Anthem squad. Approach that 13-minute mark here as well. Those neutrals really are the main difference at the moment. There is an opportunity here in the complex, going to push on towards and start up the second Fang 2 for Midnight Anthem. But Bad News Bears is here. He's got Salami to deal with though. The Steel can provide a lot of zoning as well, and especially combined with Big Z's gadgets, to be very difficult to just simply walk into the pits with a risk 50-50. Bears goes in for the Steel, and Bears is going to get the secure in the complex in towards the Stoneforge Soul. The Bad News Bears got some bad news, but it's Midnight Anthem squad with the objective Steel. Going very low, down to 70 HP in a Dream, but a Dream keeps him alive. In order to retreat, but Press Tab want more. They see
Holy moly, the chase though. This chase does not look that good though. Yeah, this chase does not look good. Good. I was like, do not chase. Y'all got good stuff. Get out.
You die, but you take that every single time. That puts you on 2 Fang
P-Tab,
gives
freaking
a great
feasting.
amount of time. And Risbro continues to get that solo farm. He has 115 CS.
Drink
on
some
a
water.
7
I got
minute
some water right here,
Great to be
baby.
in. That may not
Thank you,
sound like
water.
it's much compared to like 10 CS a minute, but you got to remember, 7 Fox early game is complete trash. So having that much CS is great. And again, that could have gone a lot worse for both teams. The Black Hole from Pepe was in a really good position, and the Dread Nova did catch multiple people with the Evil Crystal as well. So Midnight Anthem was forced to multiple people have to blink it away. And now, again, we're just in the situation. Objectives have been taken. There's no mini prime left on the board. Towers are going to be the next big thing. But Press Tab don't really care about that. All they're looking at is the timer for this next Fangtooth.
Also, I just want to bring up that point about the Sevarog as well. Very important to mention that that fight around the Fangtooth was a 4 versus 5. You saw Risbro was on that right-hand side, getting that solo XP. And as you said it, Frauke, I could kind of completely agree with you. It is a little bit of a rough old time for the Sevarogs, and just giving him that alone time in the right-hand lane, that could be crucial, especially as we look ahead the upcoming moments in this game. Mini Prime will be spawning soon. We're 5 minutes away from the Orb Prime as well, and we know what happens when this Sevarog is able to get online and find that impact. Midnight Anthem have been grouping up, looking for these plays, but it's just not going their way. They're getting kills, but P-Tab finding that subjective lead.
Definitely, and well, it's going to be the mini prime up next grabs, and you're going to have probably both supports come over. What we have actually seen though is quite interesting. Both the mid
It's a pretty
laners,
slow
Stinks
game
and
though.
have gone over to
Like, I mean,
Dual lane and are just wave clearing.
I mean,
whilst
granted,
the
most
duos
spread
have
games
gone into
should
the
be
mid.
this type
This
of
allows
slow.
the supports to rotate easily over to the solo side, as well as have the carries be in a bit more of a safe position if they are left on their own. So, and both of them are obviously positioning for that mini prime to come up. X and Cursor have both great wave clear as well, so neither of these towers are in that much danger.
And I guess as well is that when you look at the supports, it makes sense for them to roam, but Bad News Bear is going to make a gank over towards Wombar on this right-hand side. Risbro just needs to hit that subjugate. Wombar throws the tether down. He has got the ultimate available. The Fury of the Heavens will teleport him back. This is a lot of time being wasted. You can see, look towards the minimap. The dual lane is on the way. The steal is here. Sorry, Indo Complex going to be here as well as this fight starts to balloon into a 3 versus 3. Salami goes in for the shield slam. Not going to find the damage. Indo Complex gets that ultimate off the slow field, causing down members. Not
Holy moly.
yet. It's absolute carnage in the right-hand side. Hellfire's blinking.
Oh my God.
And bleeping as they're going to try and get away. It's a 1-for-1 for now. Indo Complex underneath the tower,
Oh.
trying to get the kill onto Bad News Bears, who just keeps
It was
himself
close.
alive.
Oh my God.
What's happened elsewhere overall across the map? It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Midnight Anthem. Wumbar looking for Bears, but cannot find the judgment.
And Cursor also kills Epps in that mid lane. That means he's going to be able to rotate.
Oh!
One auto attack to take out Wumba. Meister, you were lazy back in. You knew Drongo was missing. Get into the death chamber. Off you go. That does leave both teams.
You have a
not
team for
really
this turn?
able
Yeah,
to
I
do any
did.
fine. Bears is going to have to.
We
the mid laners are
we
in
lost
the other
on
side of the world, so they don't really
first
know
day
what's going on
yesterday.
at this stage of the game.
You were here, Josh. You
Now
weren't
we've
you?
only got
No,
maybe
maybe
2
you
minutes
weren't.
before that can be taken. But look at this Fangtooth timer. It is not too far away, about 1 and a bit minutes off till that happens. So if either team wants to go for this mini prime, they need to do it now and they need to do it fast.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be the call as well. Members of Press Tab.
Tell me you lost to? I didn't lose to y'all. My team lost to y'all. Understand that.
Objectives the P-Tab jungler is and doing it well. Of course, got that steal and
There's
also
a
securing
difference.
another mini prime for the side of the Press Tab squad. And this is maybe what I was alluding to earlier about getting.
No,
the mini
B-Craze wasn't
prime
on my team.
Before that Fangtooth fight, Bears is going to
We
be
went against
really
B-Craze and
terrified
Liv's
in
team.
this
My
upcoming
team
fight.
lost.
Fangtooth about maybe 30 seconds away. Risbro is going to
That
be in
guy
this
is
upcoming fight
trash.
as well. So this could be a huge play for Press Tab. If
We
they
were
execute
gaming.
It's going to be a 5v5 in either case. Wimbar is making their way over now, and you can see that Press Tab have got the advantage in terms of their location. Indo Complex is going to be your main sort of engage for the side of Midnight Anthem, but Press Tab already started it. Indo Complex is going to have to get in there fast because Epsom Bears are going to do a ton of damage.
What the?
Well, in the comments, going to jump forward. Bear's going to peel away as Slimy goes in with a shield slam
Ooh.
on towards Azful. Bears gets
Ooh.
Feb goes with a black hole over the top. So much damage. The Tesla Dome, ults flying either side. It's only the dwarf with a drop as Azful is down as this fight starts to split. You've got Bears caught between three members. Rizmo's here to help, but so many low health bars. Going to get the killing blow on towards one bar as well. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Midnight Anthem. Once again, Mem's going to get away.
Wow.
Fang2 still hasn't been taken. Rizmo going to use the blast code to get towards the tower. Epsto in a world of pain as Salami blinks onto him, and
Wow.
Mr. Cursor going to find a killing show for himself on towards Eps. Fang2 still alive, and the team fight results in 2-for-2.
Oh, this representative team. Also landed a hook that won the game. That hook was actually terrible. That hook.
One more auto attack to kill Feppy.
That hook
be
was
an extra
insane.
kill for the side of Midnight Anthem in the complex, managed to get the reset, and has returned back to this bank too. Azazel is the only one around, but without a hunt, there's no real chance of this being taken down. Midnight Anthem are going to stop that third bank 2 being taken, and that's going to be back in the game. And that team fight looked really bad. That black hole was over multiple members, but the Tesla Dome was even better. We doubted this gadget pick, but in these confined areas where the members of Tab are forced to move through certain points, the Tesla Dome is going to completely isolate multiple targets. It meant that the Bears, as well as Azazel, were separated from the rest of the team. And when that happens, it isn't easy picking for Midnight Anthem.
I've seen time
The
and time
Fang2's
again
still
what
up.
this gadget can bring in these jungle fights. Just goes to show you don't really need that hard CC to really have the impact with the Tesla Dome. And you know, in the battle of the ultimates, just to the left of that Fang2 pit, it was Big C coming up clutch.
It's interesting that he went Malady.
There, and, you know,
I'm
Big
curious
C
on why
going back to
Malady
game
on
number
TV.
1 as well. He was on the Gideon himself that time. Had a fantastic game, I felt, on that Gideon, getting so much value out of the black holes. And I think with the Midnight Anthem, yes, they have had picks denied from them in the draft, in the contest, not getting the Chimera, the Big Z, as I mentioned, not getting that Gideon as well. But it's up to these members to step up once again, and Midnight Anthem have the kill leader now. Getting that Fangtooth under their belt as well might be a big turning point for them as we move.
Oh, there it is. So they got it.
It definitely stops the momentum from Tab. Pepe is going to try and take this Dura lane tower. We have an extra minion wave here. He should be able to do it because there's
Well,
no
if they
sort
can
of
delay, if they delay Prime and you guys to keep pushing, that would
Anthem
apparently be huge.
knows he's
but-
over there. He cannot rotate over. This is going to be a 5v4. They are just going to go
Ooh.
for this. Bez is in the vicinity though.
I mean, he's already stolen one objective. This would be an absolutely massive one to steal as well. Just needs to get into.
Oh! Oh!
Massive colossal blow into a huge wombo combo from the side of Press Tab. But the fight is still going on. They've already taken down 3. They're looking for more. Ep's gonna take down.
Oh my
Salami.
God.
Mr. Cursor gets away from the skin of his teeth. But a massive combination from the Press Tab squad.
Wow. Okay, guys, that's good. I was amazed by the 3-man call from BN Bears, and then Rizmo gets 4 people with the colossal blow. If that doesn't win a team fight, nothing will. Beppy managed to take the inhibitor in the Dura side at the same time. I mean, Midnight Anthem were doing well. And then Press Tab just basically said, no, you're not doing anything anymore. We're just ending your lives. I mean, what else do you want me to say?
I mean, Press Tab just decided to press the ult button as well. I mentioned about
That was a monstrous ult.
their individual players stepping up, but P-Tab, oh my word. I mean, Bears is having an absolutely fantastic game on this Chimera pick, and the combination with Rizmo, that's gotta be a Twitch clip, that's gotta be in the highlight reel somewhere, and that's another big swing. We thought after what happened at that Fangtooth play, Midnight Anthem were back into this game, but P-Tab just clapped back even harder. This game really living up to expectations here.
Yeah, I was saying it's the same that it's only a best of 1, but now Press Tab have got that advantage. They've got that tier 2 towers to take in the mid lane and in the solo lane, and with the inhibitor down from that duo side because of Feppy's pushing, that means it's going to be very, very easy because Midnight Anthem is going to have at least one person over there making sure that doesn't do damage to the core. And it makes the lives of Press Tab much, much easier to push in. It's going to be interesting to see if they go for a 4-1 or like a 3-2 in terms of their sieging. From the looks of things, so it is going to be a 4-1 with Wispo in the mid lane.
They just always having to keep a member on towards the left-hand side, but this is where the press tab squad, the pick potentials are to come out. There's like the Subjugates, the likes of the Cull, and also this Dread Nova from Azazville playing this Argus support as well. They're taking down Tier 2 tower in the right-hand side, Tier 2 tower in mid already fallen, and out of siege on towards its inhibitors. Midnight Anthem have already won one team fight. They need to win one here. They need to put up a huge defense as well as but the momentum all in the way of press tab. Very split here. 2 members from both teams in the mid lane, 3 for both teams on the right hand side. Many waves do just need to be pushed in, but frankly Midnight Anthem do have the wave clear on the side with this gadget Indo complex going so low. Actually has to go into the Stoneforge Sword to keep himself alive. Dread Nova goes for the 3-pointer. Not going to find it though, but the siege is still not over.
Probably, yeah, they're just going to siege
At
it.
least with Midnight Anthem, the side of the dual lane has been pushed up, so it's not too bad. Azezel is going to go for this Synaptic Obliterate on the cursor, but does not hit his targets, but he is going to be forced back. That does give a chance for press tab to push into both the solo side and the mid lane. I don't know if they're going to go for an end. It does look like they are, but Primal Fangtooth is an option if they want to back off. But they're not doing that. They want to end this game. They want to get to the main event.
Oh,
Salami goes in off the tether. Ultimate's going to throw down.
oh, they got melted.
What about this defense?
They got melted.
Has already fallen. Big Z getting the killing credits. The good combination.
Not a bad mid on defense, exactly, Josh. Yeah, I appreciate the knowledge that you have to share with us. Thank you.
Down his members 1-for-1. It was a perfect setup. It was a perfect engage, but it wasn't good enough from the Midnight Anthem. They can hear the core siren double subjugate ticking down to their elimination from PCC. Press tab will be your 8th and final team securing their spot in the main event.
I mean, that game was so close.
That was wild. That was an interesting game. It was a fun one towards the end. Slow start though initially.
Yes, you had Feppy on the other side, but you could have just matched it and gone for the 4v4. But clumping up meant that Bears and Risbro got a highlight reel because of it.
That was an interesting time.
West Ham got that War Prime. They did not let go of the brakes. They were knowing where to go and what to do, and that was completely it. I mean, that's our last member of the main event, and I mean, a very good showing to show why they deserve it.
Wisdom.
Coming back from that loss,
Exactly.
especially in the.
All right, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna get some food, shower, and all that good stuff, and then we'll be back with some gaming after on the late night stream. So appreciate y'all hanging out while we got some while we watch some games going. Yeah, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.